Okay, this is round 2 of this actually. Even though I say it's round 1. It's round 1 because I decided not to do any work after round 1 last night failed from a big storm coming into Costa Rica. We're in Costa Rica. You're going to hear funny noises in the background. You're going to hear birds chirping. There's monkeys fighting right now in the background. And we get blackouts constantly. So if I get a blackout, if it doesn't power back up, sorry, that's the end of the feed. So working through all these challenges to try to get you some content, and maybe you can come in and interact with me if you'd like, and I'll show you a couple tricks. So this is a model that's been pre-approved from a client, and I'm going to be going through this model and just kind of tackling some punch list items. I know there's a few things that are interesting to me right off the bat, which is I'm going to be using my brand new Fireplace tools for the first time on a revenue-based project. So pretty happy with that, hoping that it pans out the way that those tools should pan out. So I have not practiced on this project. So we're just going to work through it live together. Whenever it comes to live stuff, yeah, I make mistakes just like the rest of you, and we just keep working through it. So first up, I've got 2 different fireplaces. So I want to, and they're going to be different styles. So I want to pick my various fireplace tools. Let me get my pointer options up. This feed is always a little bit compressed, and so visual quality is not as great as I'd want it to be. We can't stream at a 4K, so we're going to be streaming it at like a 720p, which is pretty low. I do think I want to upgrade that service later on this year, so that we can get at least some 1080p streaming. Anyways, we've got my pointer option tools up, which means we can magnify a few things, and you're going to see that these are items I sell. I've sold a couple of units of these, and I haven't gotten a chance to use them. So here we go. I'm going to use them right now. So I think for this first one, I need to use this symbol is created for kind of a stone fireplace facade, and then let's see what we can do to kind of conform it to this stone fireplace here and get things going and looking the way I want them to look. Just 1 second. Let me get my mouse, make sure it's running correctly and hitting the right keys. There we go. Okay. And for those of you that just joined, I see a couple people have joined in. If you allow Facebook to use to have StreamYard see your name, then if you post a comment, I can see your name as well, which is nice. Nice to know who I'm addressing. So a couple things come with this kit. There you go. There's our birds fighting in the background. A couple things come with this kit for fireplaces, and one of those things is that we can stretch the symbol out, and we can also kind of replace these mantles to look exactly like they need to look. Let me get into a 2D, and I'm going to make sure that it's built from a cabinet symbol, so I'm going to make sure this cabinet symbol is snapped to the edges of my wall. And then from there, let me actually get into these tools. We tried to do this stream again. I mentioned this earlier, but we tried to do this stream last night, and I had one person interacting with me before the blackouts hit. So now we're at this again, and he was commenting on my library organization. I think we'll get into that a little bit later, and we'll talk about how I organize my library so I can find things easily. So I'm going to get into my models, architectural, and then I have fireplace tools. And it's nice once we get to this level to click on a folder so that we can see a visual representation of the different sections of these folders. So fireplace components is what I want. First up, I'm going to get into my advanced section, and I'm going to choose countertop overhang because I want a 0-inch overhang. I could spray it onto this cabinet that's building this fireplace, and it's going to remove that the bottom molding and just leave me with one left. And then I can get into my moldings for top mantle and choose. This is going to be what this client wants, is they want just a solid wood mantle. And from here, I can select this cabinet and choose to make it a custom countertop so that I can drag that countertop back to the back wall. And what that will do is it will drag that molding with it. So once I get this snap to the back wall, and I might need to play around with this in 2D plan view is probably easier. So let's see, that's the cabinet. I need to tab through and get to that countertop if we can show it here. It looks like I have countertops turned off. This is not my plan. So this is a client's plan. So I need to get used to whatever they have going on in their plan. So we've got countertops turned off. Now they're turned on. I should be able to tab to it and snap this back to the back wall. And then back in 3D, we're going to see that that wood section snaps back to the back wall now. Cool. And it's just a matter of painting this out. There you go. Something in this plan. Well, you're going to catch that too. I'm going to be slapping away mosquitoes during this feed. Something in this plan is rebuilding very slowly. So at some point, I would like to take a look and see, which one of these has a huge phase count. And it might be just one of these rattan deals here. And no, those aren't too bad. So 6,000 phase count on this. But yeah, something in this plan is causing a big slowdown in rebuild. So sometimes I might have to go through and purge a plan of issues like that. So that's one fireplace down. That was the easy one. I think this one is more of a decorative fireplace. So we'll try a couple things. I'm not going to take it too far before I jump to the next thing because I'm not sure how interesting that is for you, the viewer. So we'll just start with kind of a basic fireplace. Or actually, let's go look at my examples in the library browser. So a couple different fireplace examples. Let's expand this so we can get a bigger preview. I'm not sure the style they're going for here. So in fact, I'm going to skip this for right now. Let's do something different. I do know what this flooring material is supposed to be, and I actually made this flooring material, which to my knowledge is the only knotted, what's that called? What's that cut called? We've got knots in a hickory floor. And so I've never run into a hickory floor with knots. It was a challenging material to make. So that's what I've got going on here. I made this last night once power was restored. And so this is the spec on this project. And this turned out really good, especially considering it's a low resolution image. So if we kick on PVR, ray trace, just take a look at what this looks like. Yeah, these floors turned out really good. And mind you, I haven't edited any of the lighting. So right off the bat, pretty happy with those. And then I know that we have a mudroom over here, and the mudroom has a different floor. But I think that this mudroom is not split correctly. So let's get over to this. Yeah, I need to have a wall split here. And I'm running this in X14, and we're on the public version of X14. And one really awesome thing that we got in the public version is that we got greater accuracy in placing walls near end connections. So I'm hoping I can place a wall away from this end and slide it down close without it pulling this wall in a way that I wouldn't like. So if I drop this down, let's see if I can keep that connection. So not quite. The main fix is that it changes where it will cut in the middle of a split. So I do see that we have a divider here. Maybe I can get that to cut. What's that? Book divider. I'm not sure that accuracy matters here. I might get back to the client about that. If I try to pull this divider up, we're going to get a disconnected condition. Of course, I could use the old trick of dropping in a CAD line here and then trying to snap my divider to that CAD line, right? And for some reason, that's always worked in the past. But same thing, we've got kind of a disconnected situation here. Let's see if we can snap this to the CAD line. Yeah, still some funny things. So the next thing we can do is we can go into our options. We have new options in our walls. So let's go into defaults, walls, general wall, and auto merge collinear walls. I'm going to leave that unchecked so that maybe I can maintain a break here just by extending this wall and turning it into a invisible wall. So there we go. We extended that wall. Now we'll make that break on that CAD line. And now this section will be invisible. So like I said, I'm not perfect every time, but we work through it. We get to some solutions that work. Let's see this thing rebuild again really slowly. And we should have, oh, well, there's our next issue. Little baseboard issue. Yeah, so I might need to change that room divider to, I need to jog this. Yeah, any number of fixes we could think of here. So let's get rid of this room divider. And let me see what I can do. Reverse layers here. I mean, reverse sides. Snap this. Yeah, it's going to want to pull to that corner. It's too close. So I might run through a couple fixes through that later, because again, it's one of those situations that could be challenging, eat up a bunch of time, and maybe uninteresting to watch. Better suited for a tutorial. So I might work through that challenge a little bit later. I do now have my room dividers set up, and I need to check back with the client, make sure that what I'm assuming is correct, because maybe it is that they want a mudroom floor here. That just seems odd to me. I would rather have it on this cut. So that's what I'm going to do. So I have another custom tile that was created. This was budgeted for when this project was taken on. So I'm going to drop this tile material in. Oh, and I have it set to paint for plan mode. Let's go back a level and set it to our room level painter. It's kind of a wild tile. I lost the number of viewers, but I see one just pop back in. You guys feel free to ask me questions along the way. Please do. So yeah, this is the tile that was custom created for them. Got a little bit of variation in the tile, so that's nice. I feel like it works pretty well. We'll turn on a PBR. It's going to slow down the feed for a second. Yeah. It's doing what it's supposed to do. It's picking up light the way it should be picking up. So next up, I know that I want to do some recessed shelving, and the shelving themselves are going to have an 1.5-inch rail, and I want to stylize that 1.5-inch rail, and also I want it from my library because it would be a typical thing that I would create. So this should be a simple process just to do with the solid tools, especially the new solid tools in 3D. So I can go out and draw right here, in the middle of the elevation. Maybe that's interesting, maybe not. I don't think so. Probably do it on the floor, a little easier. I'm going to use, if I wanted to do it in 3D, I could use my tab input or enter input. So click on the floor with my solid tool, and then hit tab or enter, uncheck polar, and we could say that this is going to be let's call it a -12 by -36 here. So we're doing a 12 by 36-inch shelf. Oh, look at that. We got a glitch. That didn't work at all. Let's try it again. I love running into glitches live. Then I got to go beta report and say, hey, Chief, what happened here? Tab input does not work. Look at that. Isn't that funny? So that's something they got to fix. because that's not right. Let's try it in this way. Let's go 1236. That worked. Funny. And there it is on the floor. So I want the height of this to be, let's just open it up. I'm going to make it 3/4 inch height. Let's go. All right. So tab, 3/4 inch height. So this is going to be the main shelf panel. And then from there, I want to do another solid in front of this. And let's just do it here. We could do it in 3D. I'm going to do it in 2D. Same thing. I could just set this to be 3/4 inch and -36 is fine. And then I do want to get into 3D. We're going to raise this up 3/4 of an inch. Oh, wrong coordinate. Let's try that again. Tell you, if you are watching right now, this is a good one to learn. We're making a custom shelf. So that was raised 3/4 of an inch. This needs to come up. I already know this is an inch, but we can just snap it. No big deal. And then we're going to get into our new 3D chamfer tools, which I love, 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 love. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch. Let's do a 1/4 inch chamfer. And just click on the 3D, and I can chamfer this, that 1 inch. That's all I wanted. That's it. Don't know if you can see that. Let's turn on our line over method so you can see that. There you go. Quick chamfer. Now the last part of this is I want to map this in a certain way, which means I'm going to need to explode this block. You might want to chamfer the lower edge of this just for an eased edge, or actually a fillet. Maybe we will do that. Let's just do a fillet real quick, and we're going to just fillet at, I think 1/8 of an inch is a little heavy, so maybe a 1/16. And then since we're in our 3D, we can get to that 3D designation. There we go. So we're just chamfering that bottom edge. I think that's a really sharp look. And then I'm going to take these and explode them. And then we're going to map them. So I have, in my toolbars, I have 2 wood textures, and they're oriented, perpendicular to each other. So I'm going to use just paint the room method here and paint everything first up. And the size of the grain is huge so that I can kind of easily track direction, right? And so then I'll flip to a component level edit and paint individual faces. And because we exploded this solid, it will paint individual faces. So just painting these faces only. You're going to see this is, perpendicular to this, which is exactly what I want. Now, keep in mind, when you create something that's, cabinet based, it's going to automatically flip orientation unless your material has global symbol mapping. I can show you how this all works. Once we've got this painted and added, we'll show you an example of what this is all doing, right? So, and then the underside of this is actually facing the right way, so I'm not too worried about that. The back side of it, not worried about the back side of this, but might as well do it correctly. Here we go. So now we have it. Now I have my perfect shelf, and I might give this away as Free Symbol Friday. Kind of a simple one, but still useful. So let's select this whole item, convert it to a symbol, and this is going to be a millwork class symbol because I want to use it as a shelf inside of a cabinet. So it needs to be a millwork class symbol. Go, and we'll name it. We don't need to name it right now, but I'm going to anyways. And I don't think we need to do anything with stretch planes. Stretch planes should be just fine the way they are right out of the box. So grabs, let's see, 1.5 faced shelf. See Michael Moore, thank you for this comment. If you've got any questions about this, let me know. So I'm going to place this symbol now in the plan, and we're going to take a look at this, what it's doing. Now, the last pre-symbol Friday, the date today is the 2nd of June. So last Friday, previous Friday, which I'm not even going to guess at what date that was, we gave away some, actually, you know what, it's 2 Fridays ago. We gave away a UV mapping tool, UV mapping texture. And I'm not sure that I saved it to my own library, which is lame, right? Why would I give it to you if I don't have it myself? So all I need to do is come in here, check this material, and I'm going to change this material, and I want to locate my UV mapping tool, which is this right here, texture grid. Okay, uncheck blend with, and I'm going to repaint this whole shelf with this material. There we go. Now we can see where the two different materials lie, right? So I'm going to paint on the component level, paint the other material, and we see what's happening. You know, this material was flipped and then stretched on the front face, kind of flipped and stretched across other faces. Luckily, this particular shelf has a lot of similar dimensions, so the stretching should be barely noticeable. But here's what you get when you properly map something, is that if you switch to a global symbol mapping, then we should get our direction all in the same orientation, be appropriate, be perfectly mapped. And in fact, that's what it did. That's what it did. It's perfectly mapped. Right? So that looks awesome. So all I need to do is ensure whatever material that I apply to this is got global symbol mapping checked. The only problem with that is if it is the same material as what we've got on our cabinet boxes, the cabinet boxes, a lot of times these cabinet boxes are not mapped correctly. So I would need to include my own cabinet boxes, my own cabinet door symbols. And I mean, we're getting into high level edits where we want our renderings to be immaculate, right? We want to, step it up a level. So really, are you getting a margin on that? The rendering field is so competitive. Maybe it's for your own work, who knows? So here's our next step. We're going to get into just this cabinet and start applying that new shelf. So we'll get into our face configurations. It does look like we've got a fixed shelf, and then these are going to be the floating shelves. Kind of interesting, right? So one thing I want to do right off the bat is we're going to switch this to, in our box configuration, I want to switch it to framed. We want to show that frame, right? And then in our opening, we're going to set our shelves. And pick up our library. Here's my 1.5 face shelf. And I'm going to set this to be recessed a bit. So I'm going to get into the specified depth here, which if you can't see, let me hit my, I think, F12 key. So here's our dialog box, specified depth. And here's where I can say that this is recessed. And I'm just going to click OK and see what this looks like in 3D. Oh, and look at that. I goofed up. What did I do wrong? Oh, should be very obvious. What a goofball. So let me get into my library, open this symbol up, and we're going to rotate it 90. There we go. We might need to rotate this 90 twice. I always forget how this is set up. I think it needs to be like this, and I might even need an offset. Let me switch it back to this and see what happens. We're going to do a guess and check. No matter how many times I do this, I never remember. And the millwork, for some reason, in the shelving is the only one that you can't hover and replace on the fly, which is too bad because that's a really nice feature. We're not getting a 3D preview here. Let's specify that depth again. And let's get in tight toward our subsequent window. Yes, in fact, it is turned around. So let's cancel this, flip it one more time. Open symbol directly from library, rotate twice in the Z-axis. Can't hover and click, so we're going to have to open this up one more time. So here's our opening, specify shelves. it's always it's always backwards, dang it. Almost every time I do it, it's always backwards. That's because I don't pay attention to plan north. And I mean, if you are paying attention to plan north, it's pretty easy to get it right the first time around. So let's see. So I did not choose this from the library. I need to go get that. It won't automatically parse from the library. Specify depth 8 inches. Let's see the preview. There we go. We finally got it. So because I know that these shelves, and I mean, we can show an example of this. I'll do an easy example of this because I know that the doors here are not properly mapped. And I'll show you what I mean. Let's use our adjust material tool. And I'm going to switch to a global symbol mapping on this material. And we're going to see what happens. If they were properly mapped, the orientation of the grain would stay true. So it's going to rebuild. Oh, look at that. Somehow they found a door in the catalog that was actually properly mapped. That's cool. That makes it easy on us to be able to just grab this material and paint it onto my shelves. And I'm going to replace the second material as well. Oh, except for one big problem. We've kind of got the inverse situation here. So, in fact, I mapped my stuff a little backwards here. That's funny. I should have been a left to right grain. So I'm going to have to fix this shelf before I'm going to have to redo this. Oops. Oops, oops, oops. Because what did I do? This is properly mapping with global symbol checked, right? But when I apply it to mine, the grain is in the wrong direction, which means that I used the wrong material when I applied this. So, which is funny. That's a funny thing. Cabinet symbols have a weird classification. So what am I going to do? I want to, in fact, paint. Let's see. How can I do this now? Let's do. I'm going to paint this on the room level now. This is painted backwards. So there we go. Paint it on that room level. And then paint this on the room level. Actually, I'm really curious. Let me look at this texture again. Okay, so this texture is running up and down. Isn't that funny? It's running up and down, and it applies appropriately to the rails. So Chief wants you to run your textures up and down across, and then it's going to auto flip on rails. Isn't that a goofy thing? Seems backwards to me. But so you have to pick your battle. Do you want to completely replace all things in Chief in terms of cabinetry, or go with their system, even though in the future it might change again? That would be a bummer, right? So now this shelf is built the way Chief wants it to be built. So let's select this, same thing, convert it to a symbol. It's going to be millwork. Grabs 1.5 inch shelf. Next shelf. Now when we apply it to this cabinet and apply that material, it should be facing the right way, okay? Oh, I forgot to rotate it again. Come on. Come on. Oh, you knucklehead. Which way is it supposed to be? That way, right? Is that what we discovered? I think so. Facing backwards. I swear this is the last time. Still backwards. I feel like everybody has run into this scenario where you're in chief, you feel like you're just absolutely killing it, and no matter what you try, there's some time where you just waste an extraordinary amount of time with the dumbest detail. But now that I built this shelf, I have it. It's done. It's fantastic. Yeah. Wasting time. Wait, so the orientation's still wrong. What's going on here? Look at that. It's still flipped the wrong way. So am I using the wrong shelf? Look at these. They're both mapped the same. Even though we changed this mapping, they are both mapped exactly the same. So somehow Chief is just overriding my mapping, which is frustrating, to say the least. All right, so we're going to do what I call getting off the island, which is we're going to do a unique texture and just turn it. I'll have to figure this out later and do a video on it, a comprehensive video, because I want to know. I want to know these things. I want to make sure that what I'm doing is correct. I don't like being tricked by the system, not understanding how the system is working. So here we go. I've got a turned texture now. Now I've added a texture to my things that I need to keep track of, which is a pain in the butt. Yeah, I'm confused too. I am. We mapped two different shelves in a completely different way with different orientations, right? And no matter what we did, it brought it into Chief and mapped it the way that it wanted to map it. So pretty strange behavior there. There's something about that, and I don't know how the algorithm works. I don't know how it determines what texture to flip, and it's flipping textures no matter what you do. So kind of strange. All right, a couple little notes here about fireplaces. I'm gonna get rid of those. I mentioned this at the beginning of the feed. There is something in this plan that is really slowing down the plan. I'm going to make this shelf an architectural block so I can work on it in a separate YouTube video where I explain what I discover here about what's going on. So we'll just add this to the library. Here we go. And now we can delete these items. So now that I have this shelf system in here, might be able to do some object painter mapping here. Let's see what we've got available to us. So I'm going to clear all, and main thing I want to do is, let's see, what's our box? Box construction is framed, so we can get that. We can pick that up and paint it over to the next one over. Now I want to see about shelves. Let's see if we can copy shelves over. Or maybe it's titled shelf. I've got someone coming in. I might need to mute for just a second, but I'll let you know if I do. Shelf material. Yeah, okay, that transfers over. It's not really helpful though. We're not copying the shelf itself. The only other thing I could do is copy face configuration. That doesn't really help. So I'm going to have to go in and specify these shelves separate. All right, so painting this object out, we get that face frame is painted in, but we're still going to have to go in and specify these shelves. Face shelf, here we go. We're going to inset it to 8 inches. Oh, it looks like the depth on this is a little different, so maybe we'll change this to a 10-inch shelf, or maybe even 12-inch shelf. All right, let's do that. Let's do a 12-inch shelf. That's fine. And let's paint out the room for these. Wasn't that funny? So I just copied the turned texture. What is going on? I copied the turned texture and it's not painting correctly. Very strange. So maybe I picked the wrong shelf over here. Wait a minute. I thought I copied the turned texture. Maybe I did not. I did not. That's right. I picked it up from this. So that's what's going on. All right. Now it's going to paint this whole cabinet. And I don't want that to happen either. Let me go back 3 levels. Make this easier on myself. What a waste of time. Astronomical waste of time this has been. And something happened where, I don't know what just happened. That was weird. All right, so let's get on the component level. So we're not goofing things up. Paint this out. And then I want to go find whatever's causing the rebuild time on this project to be so slow, because that just kills productivity. We're waiting on the rebuild. It's interesting. Chief is seeing individual shelves as individual components right now, I guess. That's a strange behavior to me too. You'd think all the shelves would be one object level, but I guess not, because you could specify different shelves. It's kind of a feature request. If I have a different style shelf, it should be a different component. All right, there we go. And these shelves, I mean, they do look a lot better, in my opinion. I'm going to guess that they don't want this countertop here to have that overhang. That's very strange. In fact, I would think you wouldn't even want a countertop here. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to ditch the countertop, and instead I'm going to add a new blank area at about 1.5 inches. And from there, we can add a molding to that blank area. All right. And I have a tool to do this in my kitchen quick tools, which is add an eased edge molding. Let's see how this works. I'm not sure if it works when a countertop is not present. We'll see what happens there. Oh, yeah, see, it does. We need to specify that this does, in fact, have a top. So box construction and has top. There we go. And then the only problem with this molding is that it is still showing on the side. So that wasn't a great solution. So what else can we do? It's a good question. Let me think about this for a second. So I want a top. I guess we could just do custom countertop, and that would be the simple solution for it. Just add a molding in the front. So let's go back to, or we can have a 0-inch countertop, and you're going to see some weird stuff with the side mapping. So, but I could fix that. This is going to get rendered in Twinmotion, so I can fix that in Twinmotion. There we go. So we are going to include a countertop. We're going to ditch that eased molding, and our box construction is such that, our countertop is such that we've got no sides. Left, right side, 0 inch. Looks like we've got a rounded corner treatment. Let's ditch that. Let's make it squared off. And this shelving unit is not the same width, or is not centered. It's not centered. That's what it is. There we go. Center this up. And I'll fix the orientation of the material on this one just to get rid of that countertop material. Or we could drag this, cabinet down and have it fight in the Z-plane would be kind of problematic. Oh, I know a solution. Let's do this. Although they have it stacked to the front face of the overhang. This is a really funny detail. Not what I would do. Let's do what I would do. Let's make it our own, right? I feel like that's okay. That's desirable. I feel like that's desirable. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shrink this on either side by a 1/16 of an inch. And that's to get these overlay doors to look right. Maybe it'll be even more. Maybe it'll be an 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to use concentric resize and then tab enter 1/16 of an inch. And then what I want to do is I want to drag this upper cabinet down so that it becomes the face frame. And because this is getting rendered, I really don't care about accuracy here. And now I want to push these doors forward. So I'm going to push this cabinet forward. I'm going to ditch this countertop again. I'm going to push the door, the whole unit forward so that we get a door overlay condition. There we go. That's what I want right there. And then we'll ditch that countertop, or we'll make it a uniform 0-inch countertop with a 0-inch thickness, or a 1/16 inch thickness. And then we'll just probably get rid of this blank area now, or add the blank area. Maybe we'll add the blank area. What do we want here? What's the look we're going for? Yeah, because it's kind of weird to have the doors all the way up. So we do want a countertop, and I want it to overhang the doors, but so 3/4 of an inch. So front's 3/4. Yes, and maybe we'll do 1.5 inch, 3/4 inch overhang, 1.5 inch. Let's see what that looks like. I think that's pretty good. Yeah, little details. We can see the whole configuration changed because we had some locked things happening here. So we moved this down by the height of this cabinet, and the height of this cabinet is 24 inches. So everything is locked except for this opening. In fact, I want that opening to be unlocked. So we're going to lock this opening. This one's unlocked, add 24 inches. No. Let's see, add 24 inches. This opening is the one that changed. You're right. So add 24 inches. There we go. Okay, I think we're getting there. You guys are patient if you're still watching this. Be goofing around with these couple things so much. Look at this funny photo frame that they did. I like using the Garza Gallery art stuff that I've got out there right now. You can have it by donation. Donation goes to the artist. If you're an artist and you want to set up that same thing with me, I'm happy to do that. Or if you know an artist that wants to set up that same thing, I vet this artwork, so I have to like it. Sorry. And I'm picky, but totally open to having that discussion with people if they have an artist or are an artist that they want to feature some of their stuff on my site for donation only, and that donation will go to you. Look, it drives traffic my way. I'm happy to support it, and I take use of it. Now you have to carry it in the house. Oh, those units? Is that what you're talking about, Michael? You got to carry the whole full height cabinet in there? Pain in the butt. Okay, so what am I looking at? Models. Here we go. And we're getting into decor, and we've got art. Garza Gallery. And I'm going to pick something. Actually, I still don't even know what the look and feel of this place is. We got hickory. Kind of a modern looking setup in the kitchen, but with some nods to some traditional. I've been told this is a beach front, so kind of a beach feel. Full height tight to ceiling? Yeah, exactly. Hey, we got a molding in there. Come on. There's moldings. And they could stack it on a, well, that's not true. We got a full height panel. That's true. I know. That's a pain in the butt, isn't it? But it's only a 12 inch. That's only a 12-inch unit, so easy to stand up. Come on. Isn't that a funny thing? As designers, we don't always know this stuff, right? But once you've done it in the field, you know that's a pain in the butt. Okay, so we need a beachy theme art. I actually have, I mean, that's a pretty beachy theme. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh, these load so fast now. I've spent the time to optimize them. In conversation with Chief Architect about getting this into manufacturer catalogs. They're back and forth with me right now. We'll see where it ends up. They're saying that we need to be a manufacturer to host manufacturer catalogs. I'm trying to convince them that we are for this artwork catalog. So, but it's been optimized to their standards, and hoping that that's enough to get this catalog out there for free. But in the meantime, it's donation based. And this artist is creating a new piece of art for the first time in 20 years. So kind of cool. This is, there's a big circle of a conversation and happenings around processing this art. That's a huge move forward for this individual artist, which is really fun to be a part of. So I think the one that I like here is, oh, and there's about 50 more pieces of art to process once I get out of Costa Rica back onto the mainland. So I'm going to do what this artist hates when I do, which is I'm going to resize his art. This is for rendering. Too bad. All right, so we changed those shells, changed the rails on those shells. Fireplace, that's a note that got figured out. Oh, there's going to be a direct vent outside. I need to look for a direct vent symbol if there isn't one. I was looking for a photo reference for the type of fireplace they want. It might be good for me to put in some furniture so I can get a better idea on vision here. So let me get into my furniture catalogs. I've got some arranged furniture. I've got some living room arranged furniture. Back to like how I organize my library. And I mean, organization is always on the move, so it changes as I come up with a better system. But right now, I've got a number of root folders. There's probably about 6 root folders. One of those folders is models. That's the title of it. Underneath models, I've got decor, and then I have a room by room based set of decor. And then within living room, I have what are called ASIs for assemblies. And so I have some pre-done living room assemblies that I can drop in here. And I actually don't have as many as I'd like. I'd like to have a lot more of these. And as I build these out, that would be really beneficial to my workflow. I'd be able to drop these in here like this. So this is certainly not the arrangement that I would put in this room. Reflect about and flip this a little bit. It's the wrong kind of couch. The other living room assembly I think is huge, and also maybe the wrong kind of couch. But I'm really using this just for visualization so I can get an idea of what they might be putting in for a fireplace. So having a look at this now, and let's turn on a light set for this camera. I'm just going to uncheck everything here, and right, so uncheck all of these, and then want to get on organize the column by room. And once I organize it by room, I should be able to just grab only the living room set. There we go. And we're going to do a new set. We're going to turn this on. We're going to do a new set, and we're going to call it living room light set. Easy. And this is just to check materials in the room, make sure that I've got everything covered here. So there we go. We got living room light sets turned on, which hopefully this is the living room. Yeah, it is. Okay. That way I can turn on ray trace. We're going to have some latency for a second. Okay, yeah, and that's just a quick look at this. I don't like the wood material here, so I'm going to replace it. But in the meantime, let's get a fireplace in here. What do we think the fireplace even looks like? What do you guys take on that? Anybody want to chime in? We've got 7 viewers right now. What do you think the client was intending to do with fireplace? They didn't give me much of a prompt on that. They just said, do what you think, kind of a thing. So I think this needed to be more of a considered section here. So I am going to start with some of my pre-builds. Let's do sample fireplaces. I don't think the all stone makes any sense. Kind of these modern looking ones. Certainly not Pharaoh. This might be appropriate. And I will say they had a white fireplace in place here originally. Tyler Stone slab surround. Okay. Are you saying, Michael, you're saying slab with a surround? And kind of a decorative. Boy, this would look nice on a beach home, but doesn't really fit the beach theme. This kind of works. This would kind of work if it's white, but it looks a little heavy for the space. Columns don't look right. Beach home, beach home. What do we want on a beach home? I think this one kind of feels pretty good. Let's center this up on this painting if we can. I can't wait till Chief comes up with a way to let us accurately pick a center line, right? Because it's so challenging. You have to be dead center for it to pick up, and sometimes even then you can't get it. So let's get this stacked up a little bit. I think that the moldings are going to switch to just a single molding instead of this double stack molding. Boy, that just feels forced, huh? Strange. So maybe we'll put in a tight molding there. That just does not look the way I would want it to. Let's pull it out a little bit. Definitely the wrong materiality. That's fine. We can switch that. Let's switch light sets back to normal, back to default light sets, so we can see. There we go. Okay, so Fireplace. Oh, you're saying only columns, no columns, only tile or stone slab up to mantle. Let's take a look at what they have originally and see if we can't glean some inspiration from what they originally had, which is, let's take a look. I'm kind of with you, Michael. I like that idea, but I don't want to get too far away because I end up taking this to the point where it's ready to get rendered and find out you got to replace the fireplace. It's not the biggest deal in the world, but see, this is what they had. This is the original file. Oh, great tip, by the way. Anybody that has a 3D connection mouse, and you might notice that you get this weird bouncing. See how this is bouncing around furniture and stuff? And as you're walking through rooms, it like kind of directs you through rooms. If you just pin straight, it just kind of kicks you and bounces you in all kinds of weird ways. Get in your 3D menu, and this is on a plan-by-plan basis. Camera bumps off of walls. Camera bumps off of walls. Good thing to remember. Okay, that's in your 3D menu. So 3D view defaults. Now I can navigate this with my 3D mouse without bumping into everything. But yeah, they had columns. Isn't this funny? I actually have a fireplace that looks exactly like this. But I mean, better looking. So I'm going to do this first. I'm just going to drop in what they have first. But I'm with you. I'm going to propose in a little email that we switch to a different style. Don't save. So yeah, don't save. I wish there was a preference for the bump. Well, I just went over that. Did you pick that up? Did you understand that we just changed that? Hopefully you did. Okay, ditching this fireplace. I'm going to go with this other, like, stately looking fireplace that seems like they wanted, which is this one with the columns. Where is that? That one. Kind of an interesting one. So you can get to the height, change the height of this a little bit. And then the ultimate trick with this, I'm pretty sure we're going to put a hearth on this for the style that this is we're going to use that material region, floor material region, and then draw out a hearth. Hearth? You guys ever think about how many terms we need to know in this industry? Isn't it crazy? I'm going to edit this to be like a 3-inch, 3.5 inch, something like that. And now it's going to raise this fireplace up. There we go. Bingo, bango, dunzo. And, oh, look at that. I got some issues here. What are the issues? Got some missing components here. That's funny. It looks as if this is this. Oh, global preference not planned by plan officers. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm with you. But if it's in your template plan, you switch back and forth a lot for that. Maybe that's the difference. So this is an issue with Chief. They periodically just replace my stuff when they can't, for some reason, locate a panel or something like that. It just changes. It just screws with my symbols. I don't know why. It bugs the heck out of me. They haven't been able to figure out what the problem is. It seems to be only my system that does it. It's very, very strange behavior. So this symbol is missing 2 panels, and I don't seem to have any way of getting them back. What do we have here? Side panel insets, Hawthorne door is the center sections. One end door is that fireplace section. I want my 2 face fronts. Slab door. Slab door. Side panel, default style. Slab door. Yeah, doing something weird there, where the slab door is just not showing up. Can't tell what I'm looking at when I select that. It's being cut by the pilaster. That's what's happening. So I might need to fake that. That's fine. We'll fake it. All right, on to bigger and badder things. Let's touch on this kitchen a little bit. For one, let's ditch this ugly. This is Chief's built-in dishwasher. Think they could do a better job? Man, is that bad. There we go. That's better. Oh, and we got something goofy happening in here. Looks like a custom countertop that's not laid correctly. So what's happening? Let's take a look at these. That's 36 inch, so that's correct. But then they have, this is not set to auto. Okay, so elevation at top is 36 inch, but it's absolute. That's what's funny. So from finished floor, there we go. Finished floor to top should be 36. Set height from cabinet would have been what I would have done. So I don't know why they were messing around with it. Something's wrong there. They're probably trying to figure out the issue with their hole in the countertop for this sink, which can't do a hole in the countertop for this. Doesn't make any sense. So we'll ditch the hole in the countertop and we'll do a break. And then the next thing is figuring out, what. Oh, this is just an individual sink place. So they were trying to recreate a farm sink. There's certainly some better ways of doing this. Let's pump this up to the point where it hits the underside of the countertop, and then we can add 1.5 inches. Actually, that's wrong. I want to bring it down 3/4 of an inch. Actually, I want to bring it down more than that. Looks like it's higher than the countertop now. Let's bring it down. Sure, let's bring it down 1 inch. Seems about right. And then we'll cut this countertop to go around that sink. There we go. So here's our custom countertop. We'll do a couple breaks. I'm going to break it so that it sits on the flat. And I mean, I can make this perfect, but again, this is for rendering. I'm not too worried about it. And then let's take a look at what we've got going on here. There we go. That's better. Now let's fix the cabinet. Should have a blank here. Let's get a blank area. Move it up. Move it down. We've got 2 separations. Only need 1. And then the blank area is probably going to be something like 3 inches. I don't know how well you guys can see this because this dark blue is probably hard to see on the screen. But there we go. We're getting there. That's getting close. Then we've got some alignment issues. This cabinet box, it doesn't align with the cabinets next to it. So I might want to go into Aldo and make sure that module lines is turned on so I can see. And then this cabinet is aligned, so we have a different box construction. Oh, so this is set to be inset, and the others are overlay. Funny. Okay. Don't know. These are the kind of stuff I run into. So my rendering prices are a little higher than the industry standard. And this is why. Because I want to take care of you. So full overlay is probably what we're supposed to be looking at here. And we might now want to put a panel here. Probably not. That would be weird. But yeah, I'm really taking care of your models when I go to render it. I do also, this particular client, I gave the option, they could fix everything. I'll do a punch list. You guys can fix everything, save some money. Absolutely no problem with that whatsoever. Or I will render as is. But man, you don't want this rendering as is. There's so many little tweaks and fixes here. We're going to replace all these stools, replace all the furnishings, make sure that all the materials are up to my standards. I want all these materials to look really top notch. I'm going to call out questions like this, like, why is this crown not continuing through this symbol here? Do you want me to fix the materials on this symbol here? Because isn't that goofy, right? So same thing. Can we rotate this material? Let's do a copy of. Let's do a rotate. And apply it to this face. Component level. Oof, that's just not a great symbol. So I might replace this. I might go build this myself. So this client hired me for like a premium service. They wanted this to look as good as possible. This is going to be marketing media on their website. They want this to look as good as it possibly can look, which means we're going to replace these pendant lights. Because look at those bulbs. You ever seen a bulb look like that? What a weird thing. There's a really easy way to do this kind of stuff. If you open the symbol up, we're going to open its symbol class. Okay. So we're editing on the symbol level. And within the symbol class, we've got a number of faces, 988. That's great. Pendant glass jar. Right. So I'm going to increase our smoothing angle to like 300. That's going to do is it's going to make it really easy for me to use the delete surface tool. Now I'll use that delete surface tool. I'll come in here and I want to get inside of this unit. Let's see, right there. I'm going to delete that light bulb, just like so. Okay, I'm going to add my own light bulb. That's the point. I'm going to add my own light bulb, make a new symbol out of this. But before I even do that, this symbol is so low poly count, it's going to look like a jagged piece of junk when it makes it into Twinmotion. And Twinmotion doesn't have great smoothing angle algorithms. So you can see this whole symbol is jagged. I'll prove it to you. Let's open up the symbol class again, which is going to bring that light bulb back. So let's change the smoothing angle to 0. Now watch what happens. Chief's got some great smoothing algorithms. So change it to 0, and then we'll do a line drawing on top with all this zeroed out so we can really see what's going on. And now you can physically see the poly counts. So the other symbols had a smoothing angle of 45 degrees, which means that any adjacent planes within 45 degrees are automatically smooth. You can see that in the other pendants. So this pendant, where we just set it, smoothing angle is 0, so there is no smoothing happening. We can see all the individual faces of this item. And it's just a little bit jagged. I'd rather this be a better symbol. So I'm going to end up replacing this. I'm not even going to bother working on it now. We'll end up replacing it inside of Twinmotion. It's a good little tidbit of knowledge if you didn't know that already. Some tricks. Okay, what else needs to be addressed down here? I like to put an eased edge on cabinets, so that makes a big difference. We can do it on a room level basis. So I've got a tool built into my kitchen quick tools. I'm gonna start plugging some of these items because you know what, it makes a difference. I make better tools when I feel like it's funded. So I have these for sale, kitchen quick tools. Here you go. A very quick and easy way to add an eased edge to all of your cabinets. Hopefully the tool works as intended. Yep, it did. Look at that. Got an eased edge there. For some reason didn't pick it up. Oh, well that's because this is a custom countertop. So I need to place it on the custom countertop itself. I'm not sure that the eased edge works on custom countertops. So that might be, yeah, you know what? That's something I will add. I need to fix that. So we'll add that. So I'm going to open this up and grab eased edge in my moldings. Add new molding, eased. There we go. Eased edge, eased edge. Which one? Not sure. So now that I added that eased edge to this countertop, I can select this, add it to an existing style palette, which is that eased edge style palette tool, part of my quick tools, and then I'm going to issue an update. So if you're watching this right now, if I haven't given you this update, it means I forgot about it. But there we go. Now that's added to the tool and it will work on everything moving forward. I need to check some things for reference to see what's happening in terms of finishes here. So I've got a spec sheet for finishes. But the other thing I want to do is I want to make sure that I'm going to fillet all edges. I'm going to fillet it by 16th, probably good. 1/8 might be a little nicer. Let's try an 1/8 first, and we'll just do all edges. There we go. So we just got a little bit of a rounded edge. And again, these are these little details that make a huge difference when you go to render. Now look, we've got all these little kind of partial radius edges here. I think that this sink needs to move out a bit. Let's move it out maybe 1.5 inches, I would say. It should be sitting proud of that edge profile and just short of its own radius. There we go. That's looking a little bit better. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. I usually have a counter that, I usually have a system that's, what is going on here? Oh, we added eased edge to this cabinet and this cabinet is short. How funny. Why is this cabinet short? Yeah, so they were really fighting this system here, trying to create this farm sink. Probably didn't know quite how to do it. So there we go. So we are picking up eased edge on all these island cabinets. We need to actually get rid of them now. Did that by mistake. So I can switch to my full height cabinet tool and then marquee select all of these and quickly pitch those moldings. Easy enough. All right. I'm guessing since this is the beach home, I would put corbels back here. Right? Wouldn't you? And then you have doors underneath all that. That's kind of strange, but I guess so. Long-term storage, why not? They put some care into building this out. I like that they, force that outlet back into the recess on the panel. We've got some material issues here, some weirdness going on here. Looks like they painted. Oh, this is concrete. That's what they did. This is funny. Instead of doing a panel, they added a P-slab. That's funny. It's too funny. All right. I'm going to leave it. Whatever. It looks fine. It fooled me. Didn't it fool you? That's funny. So they didn't know how to do a frame, an appropriate frame there, a side panel. We've got something happening here. Oh, we've got some kind of filler panel that's not high enough. Bunch of these little problems. Boy, they add up too. I'm going to send this to the client when I'm done and show them all the fixes that I did. So we could use our object eyedropper tool here and grab this cabinet and then specify clear all and just select height and get this height, and then we must at least, oops, I thought I did select that. There we go. Press OK, and then we can paint it onto that filler. Oh, missed it. Let's try that again. Uh-oh. Did I crash the program? I think I just killed the program. It did something it's not used to. All right, let's try it again. Oh, that's hard to target. There we go. That should pick it up. Stick it right next to the other one. Again, something in this plan is slowing the 3D rebuild on. Oh yeah, really challenging to paint this onto this object. There we go. Give me the height I want. And it might be that it's diving into the floor, that the height is actually translating. Yeah, so this is probably, oh, it is on the floor. Finished floor to top, 105. So what's going on here? Molding need to be copied too. 105. So it's the molding. So it's the same thing. You could use the object eyedropper tool. And we need to specify one more thing besides the height, which is moldings, because they have some kind of offset in their molding, which is why this doesn't look right. Little tricks. I hope when you're watching this stuff, you just pick up little bits of knowledge as we go. There we go. Look at that. It was. So they had an offset in the molding. And I mean, here's the next kind of goofy thing is, you know, do you suggest to the client that they need to bring this wall forward a little bit so that the crown is captured, right? I'm going to bring this forward at least 1.5 inches so that we capture that crown. Little details like this make a huge difference. And I might want to just drop a note in that, you know, because that's actually a build note. That's actually something that would be important to me. Here's a problem with Chief. If you're only moving a wall a little bit, it doesn't want to move. So sometimes you got to drag it way far away from where it was just to get it to build appropriately. So now, you know, and moldings are a difficult thing, so we don't know exactly what's going on here. So I can snap it to this edge, and then if I knew the molding profile, I could say subtract whatever that molding profile is. So maybe it's 2 inches, something like that. And there we go. Let's rebuild in 3D. There we go. Now we're capturing that, barely capturing that crown, but definitely a better look, right? I do have another suite of tools for refrigerators that is pretty cool. So we're going to save this refrigerator. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it. I want it out of the way for now, but I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to take this away as well. And so what I have is, I want to make sure that I'm saving one of these uppers as default, okay? Because then when I do that, it's when I bring in my tool to create a refrigerator, it's going to conform to that default. And then we're going to have to edit from there. So I have 2 refrigerator setups here. And one of them has returns on your side panels, face frames. Okay, look at that. Pops into place perfectly, and it has face frames. Much nicer look. So we can explode this now. And then it's just a matter of kind of fixing some materials, fixing heights. We want this height to be, well, you know what? I don't know where the box height is on these. So we might have to play around with lining these up. What are we looking at here? There we go. That's our height. And then we can copy that molding over. We can ditch this fridge. And we can paste hold position there, fridge. And you're going to see how this works. So it would have been nice to know exactly how much I just raised that up, but the bump should work here. Yeah, it does. So the bump works. So you can see what's happening here. I have a full height panel that has a return, that has a face frame. I just think it's a better look. I think it's the look that they were trying to go for. I build my refrigerators to be proud of my cabinets on either side so that you don't have to have a 0-inch overhang. They clearly are not. What's their depth? They are... Yeah, they're on a 24-inch box, so I need to move these back 3 inches. Again, not a detail I would do. I want to capture my cabinet. It's really difficult for you to get a finished edge corner on a cabinet and have it dive into a reefer panel. People do it, but man, I don't like it. Just on the standard, so much potential for error there. And our last bit here is we're going to pick up that molding again. So we're going to have to specify that we don't want height this time. I can spell. We don't want height, yeah, and we want moldings. And molding materials, why not? And then we'll paint it onto this box. And there we go. Much better look. And this refrigerator should be out. I don't know why it's stuffed in there like that. That doesn't make any sense. And let's go 1/8 inch past the doors. Little details, man. These little distance details. You know, you've been in this industry long enough. These little details, you know they add up. They make a difference. That looks so much better. Look at that. That is such a better look instead of that 3/4 inch that they had before. You know, this cabinet vendor is going to build face frames on these, right? Like yeah. Okay, so kitchen's looking a lot better. We're going to replace the pendant still. We've got eased edge on here. We replaced the dishwasher. We fixed our farm sink. I'm probably going to change this farm sink because it's a terrible symbol. It looks terrible. We could take a look at it in a second here. I might add a, you know, if it's me, well, for one, we're missing some kind of a scutcheon ring or something. I don't know if they were just faking it on this. Because if we lift the symbol up, if I lift the symbol up 1.5 inches and that's what was going on, then I'm going to assume that they just placed it incorrectly and that they weren't trying to shorten this symbol for some reason. So let's try that. Let's just do a tab input or enter input 1.5 inches. And if that sits right on top of the countertop, yeah, I think that's all they were doing. I don't think they were trying to shorten the symbol. I think they were trying to place this appropriately. So we can open this up and just set it to 36 inches off the floor. And then we might get into a library browser and get into maybe a sprayer or something like that, at least an aerator. We've got the dishwasher. Oh, and maybe I don't have one. That'd be a funny one to not have in the library. Aerator? Am I spelling it wrong? You guys watching, you know how to spell that? I don't know. Maybe you just have me on the side screen just listening to my dumbass talk. But yeah, let's add some detail in here by getting some of these, you know, things that you would actually see next to your sink. Like it looks like it needs an air switch for the garbage disposal, right? Bumps are keeping me from moving this back, but I want to move it back an inch. And there's no way I wouldn't have a sprayer on this. Wouldn't you have a sprayer on this? So let's go. Let's try air switch first. My air switch. Oh, there's the air gap. That's what we want. Look at that ugly air gap. Man, those are bad. Those are terrible symbols. We can make one that's better than that in no time. So maybe we will. Let's do that real quick. You know, this is going to take 2 seconds. Not really. Nothing takes 2 seconds, but let's drop in an air gap just for reference for size. I'll show you how to do this real quick. So I'm going to just throw in this guy, and not too worried about the size of it just yet. We'll place it and then resize it. Easy. Okay. And then what we can do is I'm going to try a couple things. I'm actually not that familiar with the new solid tools, but they're supposed to be way more powerful. So I'm going to snap this. 2 seconds or 20 minutes. What's the difference? Right. Yeah. You know what? If it goes on every next project, does it matter? No. You'll make it back up, right? So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I could, Michael and I speak in inferences. I know what you mean. For anybody that didn't know what he meant, 2 minutes or 20 seconds, what's the difference? Yeah. If it's something you need, right? So here we go. We've placed this. Let me hide that comment again. Place this. This is the beginning of our aerator. I suppose I could just join. You can see here, even though, oh, that's the aerator, and then that's the aerator symbol, and then that's the ball that I placed. So we're going to delete that, and we're going to get to, where's the slab that I placed? It must be on the ground. There we go. That's on the ground. When I talk about lack of specificity, I'm just doing this, I don't know, just on the fly. Why not? So I want to bring this up to the point where it's snapped to the center of this guy. Oh, wait. What did that just do? That did something funny. Did it not? Oh, no, that's right. All right. Now I want to subtract this lower symbol from the upper symbol, right? So we're going to cut this globe in half, this ball in half. Oh, shoot. I unioned it. What a goof. Let's try it again. I want to try the extrusion tools. We'll see if this works, how well this works. So I want to subtract this guy from the globe there. There we go. So from here, I think I can select this face and extrude. And in the Z delta, go, what? How tall are these things? 3 inches? -3, sure. But also, let's talk about, why am I using a globe? That was a funny decision. Should have just used something that just barely had some height. So far, this looks pretty good. So I have a trick. We have a trick for this. It's like kind of double processing. But before I do the trick, I need to make a cut for the aerator itself. So let's get this on the ground. Let me get my camera away from things. Let's get this on the ground. It's going to be easier to manage. Or maybe not. I don't know. I'm waffling. All right. So I want to bring in another solid. And this solid is going to cut a slot. What is this? What is all this? What's happening there? Some goofiness. Chief's got some weirdness with their solid tools in X14. I think they are not quite there yet. I think there's some fixes that need to be made. But all right, so we've got this, and here's my thought. I want to shrink the top cap so that it is not just bulbous and round. All right, I need to turn off my bumps. So I'm going to hit F11 so that I can place this just the way I want to place it. So I'm going to make this slot bigger than it needs to be, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert this to a symbol with no stretch planes. And then after I do that, I'm going to reconvert it to a symbol after I've squashed it, if that makes any sense. We're going to do this like twice. So move this down 1.5 inches, something like that. There we go. So now from here, subtract the solid. So now we have that slot, right? Now I want to select this whole thing. If it's 2 parts, I'm not sure. Okay. And this is going to be a fixture. It's going to be a fixture class, fixture interior. And I want to show advanced option. I'm not going to add it to the library. I don't need to. That's it. We've done that part. Now I'll place it on the floor, on the plan, wherever it is. It should be queued up to place. So we placed it. Okay. Now, because it has no stretch planes, actually, let's make some stretch planes, but we're going to make them in our favor. I'm going to make the stretch planes uniform in the Z between 0 and 1 inch. No, between, let's say, 3 and 5, or whatever it is, whatever the height is. There we go. That's what I'm going to do. Actually, no. I need to get underneath the slot because I need to stretch the slot too. So I did this a little bit weird, but whatever. This will work. So now when I shrink this down, something like that, it should squash that top, which it is. And I'm not worried about the bottom section. I want to squash the top till it's to the point where I like it. Might need to squash it all the way down. Who knows? There we go. We're getting there. A little bit more. Boom. I like this. This is perfect. So now I'm going to reconvert it to a symbol. Okay. We're going to do this twice. 2 more times, I should say. Show advanced options. Sure. Yes, because we want another set of stretch planes. Now we're going to have stretch planes in between 0 and 1. There we go. Okay. Place it. And again, stretch this. Now this is where we're going to get our final symbol. 3 inches. Boom. Convert to a symbol. One more time. This is the one I want to add to the library. Grabs, however the hell you spell, air gap. We'll do air gap. Fixture interior, show advanced options. I don't need to show advanced options. That's it. This is it. It's done. Saying that it's faced the right way, hopefully. And then I always add search attributes. This is going to be RD air, RD air, the other spelling, aerator, air gap, grabs. There we go. Now we can find it whenever we want to find it. And should be able to place it right. Let's see. Oh, we need to specify one thing in the symbol classification in options panel. Insert sits on base cabinet or table. Boom. So should be able to place this on a base cabinet, although this is a countertop, so we could do it over here. Still works. There it is. Damn. Look at this little guy. It's perfect. Let's reflect them about center of this because it's just easy. Bad rebuild time. Oh, I copied. Let's do silly. And then line this up. Just like this. Boom. So Still feel like there should be a sprayer here. So let's see if I can find that air switch that I want. Air switch countertop. There we go. And same issue. Won't place on the counter, so I'll place it over here. What do you think, Michael? You're the only one talking to me. Did that all make sense? You can make your own air gap now, hopefully. Looks pretty good, right? Why not? Looks better than what Chief had. Might even do, look at this little silly fake I'm about to do right here. I'm gonna copy this and I'm gonna center it on here, and then we can concentrically resize it and it'll look like an escutcheon, right? Or except for it's an electrical symbol class, so that's the only problem with that. So we can't resize the way that I would want to resize, but we can certainly do it here. So let's go 2.5, 2.5, about center. It should stay about center. There we go. That looks pretty good, right? These details, man, they add up big time. Just like it might be beneficial to fillet this a little bit more. Let's go, oh, what distance should we go? 1/8? 1/8 is barely noticeable, maybe. Oh, 1/8 is perfect. I like 1/8. That was a long time in the making, I think. When did I learn that? I'm not sure when I learned that. A while ago. Hacking it, faking it till you make it. That's before I ever learned SketchUp. I just needed Chief to do everything for me. So nowadays I use SketchUp, but every once in a while you get to do something fun like that pretty quickly and easily. Quick is relative. Probably could have done it faster in SketchUp. Maybe not. I mean, that's kind of a complex symbol, you know? Yeah, kind of a complex symbol. Not super easy to do in SketchUp. Chief can do some amazing thing with molding tools too. I mean, we could have done that with a molding tool, kind of, sort of. You would have had to use 2 moldings, one with the slot, one not, and so you'd have 2 halves. So yeah, could do it with moldings, but I think it's easier to do it with the solids. It was pretty quick. Whole point was to squash this, but probably could have gotten around that some other way. The air gap too the other day and had to sell for low grade one because I was pressed on time. We'll tell you what. Let's add this to my symbols and content. That should be a easy free giveaway. I'm going to be traveling tomorrow, and so I don't know if you guys are on the Rabbit Design feed. I know Michael, you are. Buddy, I'm not sure if you are, but on Facebook we've got the Rabbit Design feed, and I give away stuff every Friday. So maybe we'll give this one away this Friday. Be a good one, simple one, easy one, nice one. All right, so I want a sprayer. I need a sprayer to close this up, finish, and then finish with the kitchen and be done with it, and then move on to. I need to make some bunk beds. That's kind of a funny one. I feel like I have the Kohler catalog, and they should have an individual sprayer, but of course they're not going to call it a sprayer. By the way, is my audio cutting out at all? Let me know if it is, and I'll make some adjustments. So, sink faucets. I feel like it's going to live in here. I feel like you could also kill hours in Kohler's catalog. There's like too much, way too much. I also feel like here is exactly what they needed, but not quite. Sound and video working well. Cool. Good. Yeah, we learned some tricks about being on a really slow satellite connection, which is turn OneDrive off, turn Dropbox off. Yeah, makes a big difference. So I just want a sprayer. That's all I want. I wonder if they have just a sprayer. Anybody know where a sprayer by itself exists? The plunger is nice too for the soap dispenser. I mean, these little details in renderings, when you want a premium rendering, man, do they make a big difference. They just trick the eyes, they trick the mind, make you really think like this is definitely, well, they're using the high-rise symbol, it looks like. High-rise symbol, and there is no side sprayer. Yeah, these details to me just really let it be immersive in that way. Yeah, I don't see a side sprayer. Maybe I'll find one in SketchUp. Warehouse, 3D Warehouse. Hopefully you guys know about my search tools. That'd be cool if you did. Be cool if you utilize it. Let's throw this up here. Search engines. Let's get into my model search. Sprayer. What? It's not the right term, right? Wrong term. I'm going to limit this to just 3D Warehouse. You could break it out of an existing. Dude, great idea. Great idea. Why didn't I think of that? Look at you being all smart. What a great idea. Okay, so where were we at? We had artifacts look like it was the right kind of style. Yeah, dude. Michael, a side spray. There you go. Shows how much I know. There's only so much room in this up here for terminology, man. Okay, so we need to place this over here. So we already know this trick. We already know what we're doing here, right? You know this trick because I just showed it to you 45 minutes ago. So we're going to open this up on the symbol class basis, right? So we're going to open up the symbol class, and in the 3D panel, we're going to improve the smoothing angle to like 360, which is the highest you can make it, so that we could delete everything we don't need. But this is going to take a while because this is a really ornate symbol. So delete surface tool and start picking this thing apart. And here's where that, convert and reconvert comes into play. Is you can always do this as many times as you need to make sure you're removing all the geometry. So if I convert it to a symbol right now, we know that we're going to be missing. I mean, we know we're going to have some additional geometry to delete. Then we could do it again. So you could take this in phases, and you can see I keep missing this. Sometimes it's easier to do this in a fresh plan with no walls or anything, and with a blank backdrop. Easy to see these elements. Because once you screw up and this needs to be rebuilt, you're going to lose all of your progress. So sometimes it's valuable to do like a periodic symbol convert. Slow. This is slow going. This is where I wish I was just on the phone hanging out with someone or had some good music going. It's too bad that these services flag you for just listening to music. Sometimes they let you get away with it. They have a review process, especially on Facebook, and the owner's rights to whatever music you might be playing, they could determine that it's no big deal. You were listening to it in the background. You weren't, improving your own product, that kind of thing. So as you're doing this, it's nice to know that the perspective crop tool exists. Perspective crop tool. And that makes it so that I can get in real tight to this and not have it disappear depending on my camera settings. But I did one screw up here, which is I did not check their camera settings. My templates, my camera settings don't cut objects in front of the camera. This person has it set to cut. Clip surfaces within is what it's called. Within, if we went into our Edit Active View tool, which changed name in X12 or X13. So if you're on an older software, it's called something different. It's called, what is it even called? Camera settings, something like that. Anyways, if you go into Edit Active View, I think it's in the options, somewhere in there for the camera options, and it's clip surfaces within. Let's just do it. I'm going to convert this to a symbol right now. I'm going to place it again and then continue my work. So convert symbol. Doesn't matter. Add it to the library. Can be named whatever. We're going to get that partial symbol. You see that? Okay. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to go in, edit my active view. And at the bottom of the screen here, clip surfaces within 0 inches. There we go. Now I can get in tight to that picture. Little tidbits of information. Let's place this again. Oh, we didn't set it to, yeah, you got to do a little bit of something here. Options, place on, sits on base cabinet. Place this again. Let's finish my work. So now I should be able to get, with perspective crop mode, which can get wonky the more you zoom in and zoom out, but look at this. Now we can get in real tight. So one thing, got to open that symbol class up again. This is tedious work. But yeah, I mean, if you need a custom, that was a good idea. Why am I rambling? You're going to get a good sprayer out of it, though. This is how my library gets huge and valuable. This stuff's worth, time and money. I'd say we are past the point of, what I would have allotted for custom things in terms of this faucet alone. So now I'm investing my own time to make this happen. Look how many surfaces there are. Did I increase the surface count on this? I thought I just did that, but maybe I didn't. Oh, little ants destroyed my coffee. Something else working in Costa Rica, I'm telling you. Have to be one with the bugs. This can't be worth watching. We're going to lose viewers while I do this. But I'm so far into it, we got to keep doing it. Yeah. Michael, I'm even afraid to click on your comment right now in case I lose, in case for some reason it forces a rebuild coming back into the cheap window. There's no way I'm losing this progress right now. Boy, would that be a disaster. This would have been so much easier to just export it to SketchUp and then just quickly delete it all and bring it back in. It would have taken 2 seconds for sure, not 20 minutes. Man, what a waste of time this is now. Hindsight. While we're on these 20 references, hindsight's 2020. Or 2020. Waste of time. This is such a waste of time. Oh, man. Almost there. This is one expensive sprayer. Side spray. This is one expensive side spray. Right now, this cymbal costs, what, $80 or something? Oh, man. You know, keeping in mind that you can do this in an existing model, but absolutely would have been faster to do this in another model, considering we already knew that there was something forcing a slow rebuild time in here. So this was just, we went about this all wrong. Just none of the good methods going here. Lesson learned. Lesson I've already learned, for some reason, didn't matter. All right. The only thing that could be happening here that I might have missed is some faces that are just flipped. But we'll find that out in 2 seconds, as another 2 seconds, as we convert this, hopefully, to its final form. Side spray. So we'll call it the $80, the $80 side spray. Show it some advanced options. Hey, you know what? You know what, buddy? I don't want to hear about it. The $80 side spray is done. That is it. Let's see. The Artifacts kitchen sink faucet has a spray but less surfaces to remove. Well, you're smarter than I am. Okay, let's just say that. Yeah, we didn't think this through at all. So great things for people to see here. Don't make my same mistakes. They do happen. I think I prefaced that in the beginning. This whole thing today was, I make mistakes, and sometimes they're big dumb ones. All right, so replace this on the countertop. Reflected about the room. Finally be done with this kitchen. This kitchen took way longer than I would ever expect it to take. But it's looking good. The last thing I want to do is do this hood. And, well, now that we're seeing it, we want to get a hood insert in there. That hood's terrible. Bet you could do that hood with all cabinetry. Would anybody be interested in seeing that? Doing a kind of a dynamic hood with a cabinet symbol? Because right now I think that's just a fixture. All right, so what would the arrangement be? What would you do here? Would you put the button on the left, maybe? Or would you put the side sprayer on the left? I wouldn't want the side sprayer on the left. I feel like I want the escutcheon / air gap to move over. Right? 3 inches, 4 inches. What's up, Tim? Man, some familiar faces today. Cool. Tim, we just wasted an extraordinary amount of time on something. Glad you could join us. Glad that you figured out how to allow StreamYard to see your name. That's nice. Let's reflect this about here. That's a little close to... It's a little close to our handle, right? Be nice if these were spaced evenly in between, but it doesn't look like we're going to have that option. Oh, well. And slide this guy over. Tell you what, though, this is looking pretty nice. Pretty nice. I think Kohler has some better looking farm sinks. I think they might even have farm sinks that have inserts. Right? Anybody familiar? Now that we wasted so much time on Kohler symbols, and half the time Kohler won't even export correctly. So this symbol is probably going to have to go push out individually as a DIE collada file, because I like exporting in 3ds, and Kohler's face counters are too high. All right, so kitchen sinks. What do we have? So if we click on the containing folder, we know that we get a preview of all of the other folders, and it looks like we have a couple different farm sinks. One is the Dickinson, and do they have options? No. The other one was, I like it, they have some options here. That's a better looking one for sure. That's also better looking. What's the size on these? That would be my next thing. This kind of looks like it's the right size. Such a better looking symbol. Yeah, let's throw these in there real quick. Place it outside of the cabinet. Yep. That looks like it's about similar size. We can stretch it, right? Does it matter? Let's see. That's a big one. That's a big one. Let's try that. Remember my choice. That looks like it's the right size. If we stretch it, we're going to screw that drain up a little bit, but I'm not too worried about it. So let's make sure it's centered. And then let's kind of do, what's this other one pushed out to? There. Let's just take a look at it in 3D. Let's get rid of this other one. It's a better setup. Just want to make sure it's at like that 35. Oh, it's got this funny offset thing here. I'm going to push it up 3/4 of an inch. Push forward bottom through 6.75. And slide this back. What do we think? Slide it back 3/4 of an inch. Sometimes it pops all over the place, so I slide it back really far and then do my tab or enter input. I use the enter key for input. That's because the enter key is also set to close dialog boxes, which is how I like it set up. The sink was bigger than the last one. Oh, and it looks like the faucet is not centered on the cabinet. Look at that. So we're going to center the sink on the cabinet and then center the faucet on the cabinet. Details, details, details. Here we go. And now we know that the cut's not centered on the cabinet. Right, so and should we stretch this? Yeah, we'll stretch it. Why not? Push our cut forward. That'll maintain our fillets and chamfers. I'm just going to fake this location. Do we want to improve this? Probably not that much. Maybe just about that. Yeah. 2 angle snaps in. Let's see what this does when it rebuilds. That's looking pretty sharp. Ooh, excuse me. You can see here it wants a face. So let's add a paneled section. Ooh, excuse me. Ugh. And this is challenging. How do we add a paneled section here? Because this is the box construction. What do you think about that? How do we do that? That's tough. Oh, you have this one? You have this shirt? The little emblem on the side. This isn't even Costa Rica work shirt. This is their beer, the local beer. Ryan, I'm responding to this clown. God, this guy. Hey Ryan, so I got a trick for you. How do we do this? How do we get a face frame that crawls up the side here? A panel on your box, but also be cut, right? How do you do that? It's tough. So I have a way. we're going to do this. Since we're wasting time, we're wasting so much time today on silly things. Let's do this. We're going to have the only farm sink system that actually works really well. So I'm going to figure that we're going to have let's call it a 3-inch door panel. Yeah, 3-inch door panel. We're going to build this out of a solid. So we're going to assume we got a 33-inch width. Oh, look at their defaults. Sets the standard view. Let's go vector view. Okay. So we're going to have a 36-inch. You know what? I don't even want to do this in their plan. Let me do it in mine. My template plans are set up for this. So let's get into that. Let's go new file. And we can do it just in top-down 2D view. And I'm going to switch to, by the way, if you have my templates, there is a dimension default that's called macro zoom. Macro zoom is what you want to do when you're doing fine little details like this. You might not be able to see it on my screen, but all the arrows and everything, leaders, all that stuff changed, became real small. So I want this to be 3 inches. And actually, I want the width of this to be 17 total. So we'll just plug that in. And then I'm going to create a leg that's 1.5 inches. So I'm going to make a break here, pop this up, designate this as 1.5 inches. And that leg is going to go up, I don't know, maybe 6 inches. I would think 6 inches is probably going to be right around the sweet spot. What's the height on a farm sink usually? I would say 8 inches height on a farm sink. But some of that farm sink we could dive this into. So maybe we'll go 7 inches. We'll go one more. What's Ryan saying? I use the 2 cabinets on each side with an extended side rail and make a 28-inch high base cabinet for the sink to sit on. But what do you do about the door overlay is what I would want to know. So how do you handle having the door overlay sit on the 2 side cabinets? Extended side rail. Extended side rail. Does that work for what I'm talking about, where I want it a full overlay door? Tell me if that works, and then I'm down. You're saying 8 inches. Okay. And Tim, elaborate on what you mean. I'm going to continue doing what I was going to do because I know it will work, but I'm curious to see what methods you guys came up with. All right, so 1 more inch on this. And that's it. That's the end of this part. So I'm going to duplicate reflect about itself, union it to the other symbol here, and then make sure that we're setting this to a 3/4 inch depth panel. Oops, 3/4 was the wrong direction here. What are we looking at here? I want depth 3/4. Oh, no, it's wrong. What we got going here? Height 3/4. That's what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so, and maybe we'll even do something a little nicer than this. We'll pull a camera here. And I'm going to put a slight little, the tiniest little chamfer to this. Not chamfer, fillet to this. Let's do a 3D fillet. And we'll just do 16th. Right? And then we'll do all, 3D all. That's fine. Did that even work? I didn't feel like that worked. Pin. Didn't look like it worked. Let's try this. Let's just do the edges I want to do then. Doesn't seem like it's working at all. Why not? Wonder why. 1/16 of an inch, 3D. No, it's not giving me the option. It's the way we split it or something. Funny. Or maybe the union screwed it up. Weird. All right. Anyways. I'm trying to understand what you're hoping to model here. I thought you were wanting a panel beside the sink. I do want a panel beside the sink. But I also want that panel to extend underneath the sink. So what I'm doing is making a cabinet door drawer that can add to library. And I'm going to flip this up, X, bing, bing, like that. And then I'm going to set the size to be, the height's going to be 3 inches. And let's look at our bounding box. So we just switched it to 3-inch height, which, what was it? 3.5 is what I started with. Yeah, something like that, 3.25. Could have been precise, but there we go. So now we're telling it that this is a 3.25-inch height door, which means the legs will still shoot up. And then I want uniform stretch zones in between, uniform in between half 17, 16.25. No, did that wrong. 15.5. Yeah, 15.5 and negative 15.5. So it's going to uniformly stretch in between those two areas. And I think everything else is fine. I could do a uniformly stretch between 0 and 3.25. That, okay. Back in here, back in our action here. Now let's, all I need to do is open this up. And this section is now going to become a door panel. And we can just specify right here, library. We'll grab this cabinet door drawer. See how that worked. Tell me that didn't work. It worked beautifully. Now I just want a little bit of a gap in between this. All right, so in between the door panel, they've got 2 openings here. That's what's weird. We got to get rid of one of them. And then we're going to add new blank area. Sure. With that blank area, I only want, actually, this just needs to be a separation. That's all this is. There we go. And this is, because of the way I set the stretch zones, we've got some problems here. Oh, we've got 2 separations. We don't need 2. We just need 1. And it is picking up into the countertop, but I'm not bothered by that. So did this make sense? Look at that. It's exactly what I wanted. Cool, right? Except for that. Except for that's not right. There's your 8 inches, Ryan. Dang it. So there's a simple solve there. We can do that same thing that was there before, which was extend this opening. Let's extend this opening down. Oh, let's see. I want to unlock this. Extend this opening down. We used to fake it like this. So we used to order ours with a flush panel that was applied, and then we would scribe it. That's it. Ryan is saying, check your chat. Well, here's really what it is. We would typically get overlay doors for our side scribes too, right? There's a number of different ways we would do this. God, it's been a long while since I've been in the field doing this. 7-8 years. But what else? What else is your apron landing on? You know, is it landing on face frames that are recessed back from your doors when you have full overlay doors? Like what's your detail? So Ryan's saying that I need to check my chat. Let me take a look at this and see if I can't get it on the screen. So we'll get this on the main screen here. This is what Ryan's sending over. And yeah, same thing. He's got an apron, you know, coming back to this section here. But yeah, no, I like the flush detail. I like the flush detail a lot. It looks a lot. I mean, because look at the gaps in between your doors. It's crazy, right? Because we can't do full overlay doors that extend past the cabinet box without hacking it. I know how to do that, but it's not, you know, it's your typical user doesn't know how to do this. So I want my doors to have, you know, the reveal that I want them to have. So here's what Ryan was showing me. Let's kick this back in. Oh, actually, I'm gonna delete that. And yeah, you're saying landing on face frame. Yes, I want the gaps to be full overlay doors because this is, you know, yeah. So this is the look I wanted. I've got the gaps are true on the doors and it's sitting on that face item, that panel. So I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with this. Unless you guys are telling me I'm an idiot for some reason. I don't see it. Okay, Tim's sending us something now. Let's take a look at what this is. I don't know that I can follow a link like that. I can't in StreamYard. Maybe I can in Facebook. Let's see if I can't get to your guys's, where you guys are seeing this feed here. I'm going to apologize if music starts playing. Okay, I see it. So what do we have here? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for, Tim. That's exactly what I'm trying to build. So there you go. So we just did that. I just showed you how to fake that. Cool. Except for my side panels don't. You would have to modify the symbol to stretch out the side panels like what we just showed. Yeah. All right. Somewhere through my catalogs of kitchens I've built, I have a picture of this exact same detail. But we don't have OneDrive turned on, so I can't look that stuff up. Maybe we'll post it somewhere else. And we'll have a discussion about this because, you know, it seems to be a fun topic. Yeah, the cabinet was much wider than the sink, which we could do. We could do that. It would just be modifying this symbol, or we can make another symbol, you know. All right. I think we're moving on from this. I like this. Kitchen is looking way sharper than when we picked it up. Definitely going to still pick up materials. You guys want to see me try to fake this detail? This guy? Because we can. This funny little box. This is a funny little thing, but we could build this out to be a cabinet door. We'll show you how to do that. And then this upper detail is funny as well. But we lost a lot of dynamics in terms of applying materials to this. We can't get the grain to go the right way no matter what we do because this is some kind of a symbol. So let's just copy this and we'll bring it over into our template plan here. And let's just marquee select everything and delete it all. Oops, I got a tool enabled. So let me do that first. Okay, so copy paste hold position. Oh, this is a good thing to note. So we're in my template plan right now, FYI. So we're in our template plan, my template plan, and my template plan set 0, 0 right here. So we've been talking about why this model takes so long to rebuild. I bet you anything it has to do with the fact that it's way off center. I just did a paste hold position on this, and it's showing me that model is way off 0, 0. So some of the people that have purchased my template plan asked me, why am I showing my drawing sheet? That is why I show my drawing sheet. I want you to be on 0, 0. And if you're not on 0, 0, how do you even know without checking? So, and if it's not normal for you to check, it's nice to have the drawing sheet enabled, which you can always turn off on the fly so that you know that you're on a 0, 0. Chief set 0, 0 at the bottom left-hand corner of the screen. I don't really do coordinate-based moving of objects in that way where I'm, you know, memorizing location on the sheet. So I like my 0, 0 middle of sheet. Easy enough. Let's pin what Ryan said here. 33-inch base with 28-inch doors, 8-inch upper sections, and have blank 30-inch opening. Okay, gotcha. Makes sense. Yeah, same way, same thing. And for this very reason, it gets crazy. Stuff gets crazy. All right, so we have this symbol. We're going to do the same thing that we've done in this other stuff, which, as Michael's pointed out, could be 20 seconds, could be 2 years. This is a glitch that's been happening lately. My 3D mouse is, for some reason, is panning based on some point that I don't know. And I can't remember what fixes it, but I have figured out a fix, but I haven't committed it to memory. So we're going to end up flipping the symbol around so that we have it facing downward, because that's ultimately how it needs to be saved to the library as we modify it. And then let's open it up on the symbol class. And again, same method we did before. Set this to 360 degree so that it's easier to delete. At least this is going to be a lot easier than the faucets were, because I'm just trying to get to the single face item. I'm just going to click away here. It's going to take us, this one might actually take us 20 seconds. Who knows? Nope, they have some unknown details in here. Kind of silly details in here. So the whole point of this is I'm going to take this front portion and I'm going to turn it into a door that can be applied to a cabinet so that we can have more of a dynamic hood, and so that we can fix some of the symbol mapping. And it looks like we have some slivers that are going to need to be taken care of here. Too bad. Can turn on perspective crop mode again so we can get in tight. Make sure your clip surfaces within is set to 0 inches when you're doing this. That makes it a lot easier. Make sure you're not inside of a complex plan that's taken a long time to rebuild, because that will make it go faster. We're learning from all the mistakes we made earlier. This is how we lost viewers last time. Great thing about watching this not live is they get to fast forward through it later on. Okay, what else we got here? Kind of don't need this. Can do this in a different way. So we don't need this. I like that they built this symbol with a miter on it. Kind of funny. That's looking like oh, look at these hidden things up here. Brian, I see your comment. I'm not going to jump over to it because I get nervous that my work will get reset on a 3D rebuild in the middle of deleting all this. And what a pain if we had to do this again. Probably could have built the symbol faster just from scratch, honestly. We have one more little something up here. I don't see where it is, so I might save it in its current condition. Oh, we got really high up in the air all of a sudden. Let's see. It looked like there's one more little hiccup there. A way you can find that is turning line over on your rendering technique. Okay, so let's save this as a symbol. Add it to the library, sure. And it is going to be a cabinet door drawer. Did we miss something? We did. So there's some stuff there at the top that we're missing. So we're going to have to place it again. It's no big deal. Let's get rid of this. So we place this, and here we go. So we're going to turn on our line drawing on top. And let's just do no squiggle, no nothing, 0, 0, 0. And this will show me those little things that I need to delete. Look at that. So some stuff up here needs to be deleted. And you know what? It might be difficult to do. Yeah, what a pain. So now we're to that point of wasting time because we've got something that's too small to see from any angle to actually delete it. And this is why it's important to know sketching. I'm going to send this into my send and delete folder because I don't care about this stuff. Cabinet, blah, blah, blah. Don't care what it's called. We'll fire up SketchUp. We'll get rid of it. We'll bring it back in. 20 seconds, 20 minutes. Yes. Hopefully for your benefit. We've been streaming for 2 hours. We haven't gotten anything done. Oh, man. Send and delete that cabinet. Boom. It's going to be all goofy. That's fine. Pop it open very easily. Delete. Delete. And I should delete. Oops. There. Simple. Easy peasy. And let's take this and then center it up to, oh, let's see, move, pop this. Let's get that on the 0. I'm going to pop this and lock it in its up and down plane, pop that to 0. We've got some funny little planes that are reverse oriented face, reverse face, orient face. It's going to screw this up. Yeah, it goes to show you what we're getting from Chief isn't always the best. I mean, whoever created the symbol had some problems with this symbol. Had some errors here. I like that it's the recess panel. It's cool. Let's see. Do I know a fast way of doing this? Not really. This is not easy to reverse faces on that kind of level. And then what's going on here? We got some weird, like, fighting planes here. This is supposed to be easy. It's not easy at all. What a pain in the butt, because whoever originally modeled it did a terrible job. That's what happens, right? We could try to get into a wireframe. I'm actually not as I'm not like super pro in this program, like some of you guys might be. Let's get rid of those two, and let's get rid of this and this. There we go. That's what I wanted. What is happening here? That's better. That's better, better, better. Much better. How are you going to reverse all these faces? So if I do a contain selection, might be able to, but that'd be really challenging. Be easier just to delete it all. Let me just leave it reverse face. That's what it's going to be. That's it. No way around it. I'm not going to waste any more time on it. So we got to delete her, and then we can export. Actually, I don't even need to delete her. This is a component. Save as. I'm going to save it as, I can't remember what our current version is that we can have here, but we'll put it back in the send and delete as door. Oops. Cabinet door. Okay. Back in Chief. And let me pop this folder up. Send and delete. Cabinet. Where's SketchUp? Cabinet door. Nope. Where'd it go? Save as. Cabinet door. Oh, for some reason it went to this video. That was weird. Oh, don't freeze on me. Okay. Cabinet door. There we go. Drag this back into Chief. Sure. Finally, we'll convert it again. Just making sure. Show advanced option. Yeah. So here's the trick that we finally got to, is the depth of this is going to become 3/4 of an inch. It's going to become a door. So 3/4 of an inch. There we go. We see our bounding box. It kicked it back. There we go. Okay. So there's our depth. What else do we need to do? That's really kind of it. I think that's it. So let's get back into here, and I'm going to put this to the side. We're going to just slide this over to some known dimension. Let's just say it's, what do we want? 14 feet over. Okay. So that's over there. You know how far it is. I could pop it back into place really easily. And now let's put in a wall cap. And what we have here was, what's the height on this symbol? Uh, 42 inch, okay. So we need to shrink this up. 42 inch minus our top molding, which is probably 3 inches. And we're at 51. So we need to be at 39, so 13 inches or something like that. Does that sound right? Okay. That looks about right. Yeah. So this lower section is only going to be, well, the height of this cabinet door drawer. Let's see what it is. Height is 11 inches. Yeah, let's call it 12. Okay, so open it. Everything's locked. We're going to unlock this one. And then this is going to be 12 inches. And we're going to specify library. One of these is right. Don't know which one. This one. And it's going to not be a double door. We need to change it to just door right or door panel. Either way. And actually it needs a split, right? So we're going to split. We're going to make a blank. We're going to split again. We're going to move it right. There we go. Now we want our, this guy is going to be item width of, let's call it, what's our overall here? Overall width is 34 inches. So we're going to bring this to like 30 inch. Okay. And then we'll get into a horizontal layout, equalize. And that should give me that initial look that I want. And then above this, where there's a separation, we're going to add a new blank area, right? Get a little gap in there. Making sure that's a 12-inch height, yes. And now we can get into, we want this to just be panels. So it's going to be a door panel. It's going to be a frame panel, and we're going to split it vertically 3 times. Split, equalize. Right, now we're getting close to that original symbol, but we should be able to fix some of the material problems. All right. And does that look the same? Let's see. It's close. Why do we, well, just because this is taller in that section. Let's shrink this down. The next thing we need to make sure is we've got no bottom. Box construction, no bottom. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh, and we need a 0-inch frame. Oh, and look at that. It's not centered in that section, in that lower section here. Why is that? Because we have separation that we don't need. And another separation that we don't need. And then this should be this blank. We lost this blank. Move right. And it's a separation. And now let's equalize. Okay, that's good. Oh, what's the biggest problem with that symbol? I see it. You guys see it? We need to set our width so that it's not including that molding and that was at the top. So let's delete this because we know that one's wrong. We still got watchers. We got 9 people watching. Good for you guys sticking in there. Hopefully I'm dropping some cool knowledge on you. You guys see me, modding out these cabinets like all the time. These are all the tricks I know. So I need to change the bounding box dimension, and then we need to fix the offset based on that as well. Or actually, no, we don't need to fix an offset because it's based on the center point, on the width. So what is this, 29.5 maybe? Nope, a lot less. We need to be like 27. So we see what this is doing here. See that red outline is what's happening. So 27.5 maybe. There we go, right on the money. So now let's replace this, and we're going to lose the gaps that were there before, but the symbol is going to become wider. There we go. So we need to narrow the symbol down. So here, item width is now going to be, let's call it 28, and then we can equalize. Now we're getting closer to what it should look like. Let's go take a look at the reference item. And then the final piece of this that we can do is we can actually create a shelf or a millwork as a hood insert to add to that hood. So here was our reference. And it looks like this actually had a raised panel set up here. Yeah, it does. Which I might go find real quick. That's a fun little detail. Although client may have just been limited to that, and it shouldn't be a raised panel because now this one matches everything else here. What else is going on in the symbol? They had a gap on either side, so we could put a blank area on either side. Let's do that. Let's put a blank on either side of this section. So we're going to add new blank area, 1.5 inches. Yes, we'll move it left and split it, and then move it right. There we go. And this is going to be 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches. So now let's pick up a hood insert. Super helpful. Cool. Great. Let me know what's helpful, and we can talk more about it if you got any questions. I know some of the stuff I just fly by. Let's see. Internet glitch. What was wrong with the symbol? The symbol would not map correctly, Tim. So no matter what you did, you could not get this to map with your styles and rails in the correct orientation because it is just a symbol. It's just a pre-done symbol from somewhere, who knows. Maybe if we open it up, we can see if there's a manufacturer tab. There is. It's from Stanley, the Stanley catalog, I guess. Wood hood. So they didn't map it correctly for Chief, which, we're getting into some high-level edits. I'm also getting into granular details for you guys. This at this point, a lot of this stuff wasn't built into, the margins on this job. So I'm losing a little bit on some of this stuff, but that's fine. I don't mind that. Still got a little gap here, and that's part of, it's because we have, Let's see what this is about. We have a separation. That's what it is. Okay, so there we go. Got rid of the separation. So now I want to find a hood insert, and I'm going to convert it over to a, what do I think this should be converted to? I think it should probably be converted to
unknown color.
I want to say it should be converted to millwork. Get an unknown call and then skip that. So let me see if I can find an insert. There's one right away. Custom hood insert. Is it good looking? Yeah, it's not bad looking. Right? Kind of, sort of. Might work. Be nice if we had one that kind of showed through at the very top of this. Is that what the thought is there? What would you guys think? Do you think we're seeing part of the hood insert with the controls right in the front on the radius, on the valence? You think we would see those controls or not? Let's see what other hood inserts we've got. That one looks kind of crazy. Probably be hard pressed to find one that has front controls. Yeah, no. Is that what you're saying? Completely hidden. Right. Gotcha. So let's go with that first one. Custom hood insert. So all we're going to do, we'll bring this into our new plan again. I like working in the new plan. It's much nicer. So look at everything we've got going on here. Bring up this camera. Hood liner that insert goes into. Yeah. Okay, so here we are. And our camera's screwed up because we've got perspective crop mode on, and we've zoomed in, zoom out too many times. Okay, so here's what we're doing. This is pretty simple. We're just converting this to a millwork. And then we'll run through whatever problems that we run into from there. It should be pretty simple. So convert this to a millwork, show advanced options. No, not really. Hood insert as millwork. Okay. Now we're not going to mess with anything. We're just going to see what problems happen first, because this is a good way of just learning, right? So unfortunately, we don't, with the millwork class, we don't have a hover and replace option. So two ways we can do this. We can add it as a shelf, and in which case, actually, we are going to have to set up some things that are with our bounding box because it's going to want to shrink this symbol down to the size of the door. That's the main problem. Okay, so we've got this door panel here. We can specify, oh, because this is a panel, it doesn't want to let us specify, give us our extra options. So we need to switch this off of being a panel to being a left hinge or right hinge, which is fine. And then we get to specify shelves. Manual shelf, kicking one shelf in. You have to hit tab. It won't just automatically parse that. And then we can get into our hood insert as millwork. And let's see what happens. Let's just let it roll, right? Let's see what happens when we just say yes. And then we'll work out some solutions to these problems that might be popping up. So there we go. That's what ends up happening. Now, what do you guys think? You think that this valence, the way it's sitting out proud like this, was meant to be away from the hood? Or do you think that the hood, they build a specific hood to fit all the way up to the face of this valence? Right? So that would be my next question. We need to do an offset, right? We need an offset in Z to place this up into the cabinet. And we're going to need to do maybe a bounding box edit. So let's take this off of the shelves. Let's see what happens when we set it to the back of the door instead. So we're going to clear this. And we're going to say no shelves. We'll hit it back to automatic. No big deal. Then specify appliance door drawer. And we're going to look for a door back insert. And so here we go. Same thing. Yes, you could adjust shelf height, but ultimately I think it's going to be a little bit off. Here's what happens with the door back insert. Something for some reason it resizes like kind of arbitrarily to a left-right, because this door is large enough to be a left-right. It switches to a left-right symbol. So, and I only know this because when I created my operable windows, no, it wasn't operable windows. What did I just do that utilized this trick? Basically, to get this to work right and be flush to the door, you would have to cut this symbol in half and then bring it in as millwork and apply it as a door back insert. And it would split half and half and then apply in that way. So we'd have to do a bunch of weird offsets, and I don't have any good mathematical equation for figuring this out. I don't know how to do it. So if we make this work for just this symbol, it's going to be unique to this symbol, and that's it. It's never going to be able to be applied to some other symbol. So I'm going to hit cancel, and let's do a couple of edits here. And before we even do edits, we need to pull a cross section to get some dimensions to know about for this. And I mean, yes, we're getting into some crazy details here, but sometimes you need this stuff. Sometimes you've got a client where you absolutely have to show true to form, right? So let's pull a full cross section right through the middle of this. I know most often you guys don't ever need to get into this much detail, but we're just doing it to kind of demonstrate that we have the options to get this much detail out of these things. So here's our symbol face, and all I'm going to do is a little trick that I love to do, which is I'll bring the line tool up, I will start drawing that line, and I just want to know what the offset is here. I'm going to hit enter or tab, get that 4 inches. I can control C to copy it to my clipboard. By the way, for you guys watching here, if you haven't picked this trick up for me, I think I have a video in my shorts videos on YouTube. But if you hit start, if you're on a Windows machine, I don't know how to do this on, I do know how to do this on Mac, but not to the extent that I could explain it to you. Clipboard history is available for both Mac and PC. PC actually calls it clipboard history. Mac actually has a suite of tools available as an application that's even more powerful than this, but this is built into Windows. So I'm going to type in clipboard, and this is going to get me clipboard settings in my PC. And I'm going to make sure that I'm turning on clipboard history. Once you have clipboard history turned on, if I hit my Windows key and V, it's going to bring up a clipboard tray. And unfortunately, right now, it's blocked by my camera. Sorry, guys. But the clipboard tray will show me, I don't know how many items it is, but it's at least 25, including images. So your clipboard tray, you can paste anything from your clipboard tray. So I can copy all I want to and know that I can get back to that dimension and not worry about it. All right, moving on. Now we want to get into this hood insert and open up the symbol class again. And we know that we're going to shrink this by the offset that I want, right? So the front of this item, let's go take a look at where the front of this item is placing to see if we had it oriented correctly in the first place. So we'll get back into our camera. Let's look at the bottom of this. Let's apply this to the shelf again. Shelf, manual, 1, tablet, library, millwork, hood insert as millwork. Okay, and leave everything the way it is. And let's take a look. I'm going to do a number of things to improve this. Okay, so we do in fact have the controls at the front. So this is oriented correctly. Okay, so that when we're looking at the symbol class, this is actually the front of the symbol. That's fine, great. Now we want to shrink the symbol by our offset to the front face. And I also want to increase the bounding box in the width by the offset in the width here as well. We're just going to guess at that. I didn't take actual dimensions. So the depth, subtract 4 inches in this case. And that's going to push those controls up 4 inches towards the front of that cabinet, that custom cabinet we've got. Okay. Now the width, I want to subtract whatever it is for these little side flanges, which I think we kind of figured that out. But let's just call it, for the sake of argument, let's call it 3 inches on either side 2 inches on either side, 2.5 inches on either side. So we're going to shrink the width by 5 inches. And this will shrink it about center. Actually, sorry, I screwed that up. Increase by 5 inches. So I'm going to increase by 10 because I already decreased by 5. Increase by 10 to get 5 on to get that 2.5 on either side. So we essentially are shrinking the symbol when it's placed. Now the last bit of info, did that make sense? I went really fast on that. We're increasing the bounding box so that Chief thinks that the symbol is the width of the bounding box, so that that symbol, its mesh, is actually shrinking when it's placed. We decrease the depth of the bounding box so that it is increasing the size of the symbol when it's placed. So 2 inverse actions, same methodology. Now, I want in the Z offset, we're going to raise it up for that valence. Okay. I also want to shrink its height so that we don't have any weird stretching on the flange. So I'm probably going to shrink the height by like 3 inches as well. It's getting complicated, right? When you shrink the height, then all of a sudden the Z offset gets affected by that. So let's see where we're landing right now. Now, we can't just do a drag and drop replace. Unfortunately, Chief doesn't have that built in yet. So we do have to go in and replace. Already selected. There we go. We already see a bunch of things happening there. Let's see where we ended up. And maybe I screwed up. Who knows? Okay. So what did we get that was good? Well, not a whole lot. The Z-axis trick worked. The width worked. I did something wrong in the depth. And actually, the Z-axis is a little higher than I want it to be. So let's fix that. Let's figure that out. Where am I here? I'm in trash. Is this all making sense? Is everybody tracking all what we're trying to do here? All right, so that increasing the depth should have worked. I don't know what I did wrong there. Let's see. That's interesting that it didn't work. Interesting. Something about the width of the symbol already? Maybe? Let's check that Z offset down. Let me add that 4 inches back and see. In fact, I'm going to add 8 inches. We're going to go the inverse. Am I thinking about this wrong? I don't think I was. I think that's actually screwing it up. I think that's making it smaller. Maybe we needed to increase it even more. Okay, so specify shelves. There we go. Let's see what that gave us. I think something about the designation of shelves limits the mesh no matter what you do. Yeah, because that just shrunk it down more. So no matter what I do, I'm not going to be able to. I have another way around this. It's even more complex, which is some methods that I use to create the fireplace symbols, which is a full box replace. We can replace the box so that the box thinks that it is extending out to the front face of this bump out. And then we could get this symbol to work really well. But that's more work. It's a lot more work. So the hood insert might not work the way we want. Even though the door is deeper, Chief is seeing a bounding box of the cabinet box. Yes, it is. But usually you can fool it with the offset, except for the shelves. I'm responding to Tim here. Usually you can fool it with the offset, but the shelves designation in Chief operates differently. And I haven't done enough experimenting with it to figure out exactly what it is that it's doing. So hood insert as millwork. There we go. This might be the issue. We needed a full depth. For some reason, it was not picking full depth. That did work. Look at that. Bam. So now we need to just fix this just a little bit. And actually, we could specify at this point. We could specify and kind of nudge this back. So let's go specify. We're going to set it to 11 inches. This should get us to pretty close to what we want. And you can see that the height's a little off. Let's do again, specify 10 inches. Let's see what that gets us. Oh, so close. So close. I almost want to shrink that height down. I mean, it's the hood insert itself that's problematic in this case. We should have picked a hood insert that starts out to the face and then tapers back. That would have been a better hood insert. Right, because then it would have worked perfectly. So again, specify, I'm going to have to shrink this down one more time. And it's not going to be perfect. Oh, see, it's still showing through. Too bad. Picked the wrong hood insert. Oops. Here's the hood insert we should have picked. And actually, now that we know what we're doing, it should be pretty quick to do. So let's just search that insert again. I'm going through all these troubleshooting for you guys so that you can do it right the first time, hopefully. So we picked a hood insert that was a flat face, and obviously that was never going to work considering this symbol, and I just didn't even think about it until we ran into the problem, right? So really we want a hood insert that tapers back immediately. Something more along the lines of this. And I mean, I could get around it just by faking it, right? Really, we only want that lower flange to look right. So we could just change the height. We could shrink this way up. We can make the height like 16 or something like that. It's going to shrink the flange. It will drop it out of that door. You know. Yeah, we could do that. Not saying that insert height's problem enough for me. See what it does. There we go. How's it looking 3D? Yeah, pretty good. And the last thing is I would probably put, you know, if you wanted to make this complete, we might have shrunk this door symbol down so that it overlaid and then put a separation in here to create, I mean, we could do that. Now we're just getting crazy. I am wasting time at this time for the sake of your knowledge, just so you know. I hope you appreciate it. Okay, so let's try this. Here we go. We've got this cabinet door drawer. Let's open the symbol up. Hopefully you followed what I was just implying there. Height on this symbol, let's call it 4 inches. Let's see where that bounding box took us. See where it took us, right? That's right about where we want it. Hopefully you're following what I'm meaning by this, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to specify this door as a 4-inch door. Because you're going to see this is just going to jump up right now when it rebuilds. Look at that. Isn't that funny? So instead, we're going to call this, if we can select it, we can't select it. Let's do this. Okay, so now this height is 4 inches. Okay? Now, above that, we need a blank. In fact, we do have a blank. We have a blank right here. And we need a separation. Separation's correct. Blank is not. We need blank to be 6, 7, 8 inches, maybe 9 inches, 10 inches. Here we go. Okay? So look what we did. We created a separation section. Oh, but look what we lost. We lost the hood insert. Oops. Problematic. Problematic. What'd you say? Can we add another shelf just above the blower to the panel that the blower is cut into? Can we add another shelf just above? Oh, that's a great idea, Tim. Brilliant. So let's go back a few levels. Great idea. Of course, I'm so arrogant. I think that I only need 5 undos. You think 5 undos will get us there? Clearly, I need more than 5 undos. If this stream is an indication of anything. Let's see. Where are we at with this? Oh, there we go. All right, we got it. I'm going to have to redo. There's no way to undo in our library, so I didn't make a copy. I'm an idiot. So what's the actual height on this, you think? What do we have it at? It was 11.5. That's what it was. Something like that. 11 3/8. So I don't screw this up again. Okay. Tim, that's a great idea. Good job. Let's make that work. So we have, there we go, and specify shelves, and then we're going to do number of shelves too. Spacing from previous 1 3/4, additional 2% adding the space between sections. Let's see. It's probably not going to let us do it. Yeah, I don't think it's going to let us do it. Not with that weird offset that I put on that symbol. How can we do that? Number shelves, thickness, height. Let's go 7-inch. Now we can, right? Is that right? Yes. Okay. So number 1 is going to be thickness, height. Spacing from previous is going to be, yeah, but we can't do it negative. So there's our next problem, which means we'd have to modify the height of the first, right? We'd have to modify the bounding box of the first, because we can't do -8. Yeah, that doesn't work. So I like the idea. We need to work on implementation. I mean, these are how we come up with cool stuff with cabinets, that's for sure. Although this symbol will probably only be used this one time, and that's it. Okay, so where are we at? We are hood insert as millwork, open symbol. Let's make the height of this be the height of the flange. And we could do spacing from previous. I didn't need to set a Z offset. That was silly. That's the height of the flange is shorter than that. Let's go. What do you think it is? 3/8 inch flange, 1/2 inch flange. Okay. So we got a 1/2 inch flange. All shelves. This shelf. Now we specify which shelf we want to modify. There we go. And then number 1, spacing from previous is 0. 1 3/4 up. Let's see. Number 2, we want spacing from previous at 3 inches. Think we're there? Think we're there finally? I can't tell from the preview. Can you tell from the preview? Yeah, that kind of worked, I think. That would squash it, though, Tim. That would squash the whole symbol if we didn't do the flange deal. And I didn't want to squash it. Okay, so this worked. We just want to kind of mess with that height from previous, because you see it's cutting a little bit. And then we might actually want a custom symbol that's shaped to the inside of this box for the cabinet symbol. We could do that. Let's try that out. How do we do that? We need to see the doors drawers. Does that show us anything? I don't know that it does. Not really. You almost need. I could do this with an ortho. Oh, let's see. Let's go ortho full overview. And then section cut, right? Let's go vector. Can't do a section cut with a vector, so I need to stay on perspective. Section cut. There we go. That's the shape of our oven. I'm making a shelf to fill in at this insert, or close to it, anyways. Did that do anything? It didn't seem like it did anything. Maybe because it's placing above the cut. Oh no, there it goes. Little cut here, little cut there. Probably brings back to face frame depth. Let's split this on its center mark. Reflect about itself. Union it. Oh, didn't cross itself. So what happened there? Whatever, we can union this way. Now we want overall height to be 3/4 shelf. Sure. Okay. And then we need to flip this. Right. Man, it'd be nice to just do a 180 flip real quick. I don't know what is lagging right now, but something's lagging heavy. Yeah, not letting me. So, doesn't matter. We can do it in the symbol side. Yeah, the camera's going wonky right now. It's okay. We can get out of that view. All right, so here's our shelf. Boy, this does not want flip me around. Flip it around. Won't let me. Doesn't matter. We're going to turn it into a shelf anyways. Millwork. Here's our shelf. Infill, hood, something. Advanced options. We can flip it here. There we go. Now we need to set our bounding box accordingly. Again, we need to set that sizing depth to, what is it, 12, and then offset 3, 4 in the Y. There we go. Let's see if that works. I don't know if I thought that through completely. Okay, so number 1, library. Bam. What do we call it? Shelf infill. Yeah, sure. Okay, and the distance between previous, we're actually going to increase just a little bit. How did this turn out? Let's see what this looks like. Did that do anything we wanted it to do? Actually, yeah, kind of. What happened here? What happened here? Get some lag. Long cut. Last try. Let's do this cut. Is it backwards? It's been backwards every time. You've been here since the beginning. We've done it backwards every time, so that wouldn't surprise me. Boy, this being off of 0 is just terrible. I should just move this whole thing back to 0, and I'd have a lot less lag probably, because it won't even let me do a section cut without some problems. All right, so let's see what's happening. You think the shelf is backwards? Possibly. Although, so we're showing 2 shelves here? What's happening here? I don't know what happened there. Let's take a look. Specify shelves. We've got 2 shelves. Yeah. Shelf number 1. Thickness, height. Yeah. Spacing from previous. Yeah. Shelf number 2. We know that this needed to be like 9 inches. Okay. Or actually less. Now that we're seeing it. 8 inches, I guess. Challenging, right? It's strange that we're seeing that concrete section here at the top. That's very strange. Something about the way it was resizing. And then you're saying I have it backwards. You might be right. Yes, you are right. You're completely right. So I had it backwards. Okay. Bing, bing. And now what's happening? Our offsets was unnecessary, and our depth needed to be 12 still. So I think that was it, right? Is that it? Let's try it again. Well, finally get this right. I think your shelf is backwards. The last thing we saw, yeah. Might have finally got this right. Let's turn off the section cut. Hey, this is starting to look like something, guys. Did you paint it wood? Look at that. I don't feel so dumb anymore. Like it's done finally, but can we get this painted correct orientation? Is that going to help us at all? Let's see what that does. Anything? No. So it's tweaked sideways. I think we made a copy of this, or we turned it 90. See what happens. Same metal as the blower. That's what I thought too. Right. Yeah, this is starting to look pretty good. I think that looks sharp. All right, so we're going to turn ray trace on, take a look at what we've got going on here, see if it's looking pretty good. Next up, I'm going to probably make the material for the backsplash. I think that's in my spec sheets. Blower is a terrible material. So is the refrigerator. Let's put some of my own metal textures in here. Maybe a brushed stainless. We're going to make all these appliances the same. Okay, we have different cabinet door pulls. Kind of funny. That can't be right, right? Okay. Now, let's take one more look at our PBR. Yeah. This kitchen's going to start looking pretty good here pretty soon. What's our light set? I know this is going to lag us out, but let's turn on. Oh, default light set is turned on. Lighting in here is bad. This isn't my plan, so I'll do some things to fix it. All right. All right, so now I'm going to look at spec. And let's look at spec and see what we've got here. By the way, you guys watching, anything else you want to know about things we've gone over? Type it into the chat. We'll talk about it. As I'm transitioning to figure out what this backsplash is. So kitchen pantry. What do we have here? Oh, they have a Carrera farm sink. Fancy. How fancy. And they want a brass tap. Funny. Okay. And what else? The paint color on their cabinet's even wrong. It's funny. Countertop is a Pentel quartz. We might make this material. Island countertop is a different material. Wall color. Where's backsplash? Wallpaper. Wallpaper in the pantry is kind of a funny one. So maybe they're doing a stone backsplash. Color, countertop. Yeah, it looks like they're probably doing stone backsplash. So they want this Pentel quartz. Let's see if they gave us any resources for that. That's not helpful at all, is it? I mean, so I can fake that. I've probably got something similar to it. Let's see what I have in my library store. And then after this, I'm probably going to take a break because it's been a long day. Let's see. So, what do I have here? I kind of feel like this is exactly right. And then we'll do a roughness map to get some of that veining. In fact, we could do that same map as the roughness. That would actually work quite well. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that sharp? Let's increase the size of this so you can see it. Look at that little touch with just a roughness map. Bam, done. In the bag. Perfect texture right off the bat. Gotta love that. Cool. Look how it's stretched here. Isn't that annoying? We know the solve for that. There's a couple different ways you could solve that. But the easy one is going to be global symbol mapping. Should have been the easy one. But we can do global symbol mapping with, because it's a stretch to fit. There is an issue with this. It's stretched to fit and it's oriented the wrong way on this countertop. But I could do select, convert. Does that get me there? No, the orientation's still off. Does it matter? Do I want to waste time showing the proper way of doing this? No, I don't. So I'm just going to make a duplicate texture, rotate it. And paint. Could tile it. Could make it a seamless texture and tile it. I prefer that. I think that's good. It's going to look funny stretched on this, so we might even need to make a third and tile it. That would, that's a pain. Let's just do it. Why not? See how because it's stretched to fit, it's going to stretch across the length of the molding. So instead of stretch to fit, we're just going to set it to be a 20 by 20. And then we'll paint the molding. Little tricks. I got little tricks for you all day. And maybe we need to increase the size of this. There we go. Perfect. Okay. This top is different from the other top. So I'll end up doing that too. I know there was a custom tile in here that I was supposed to be making. We know we made one custom tile already. Boy, this material right here is terrible. It just looks awful in there. I'm going to have to figure that out in a minute. Oh, we did a molding to the room with eased edge and lost our cool molding that was on here before. That's all right. I'll fix that in a little bit. Yeah, we did an eased edge on the plan, full plan basis. Same with materials, so we're getting some goofiness here. Funny. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break. I just heard my friend jump into the pool, so I think that might happen next. You guys got any closing questions for me, or you want me to just put it on pause? Probably not going to put it on pause. I'll probably just stop the feed. There's a lot of content we went over in here. I'm going to fix this firebox. This firebox looks too small, doesn't it? Maybe increase the size of this guy. So we can increase the size here. Let's make it. I don't care what it is, honestly. And then here, width. And then I need to equalize. Oops, not equalize there. I need to equalize here. There. Easy. There we go. It's a little better size. These are way too close to the fireplace. They're going to burn. Our raton's going to burn. Not that it matters. I'm going to replace all these symbols anyways for final rendering. So next stages of this, I'm going to go through and make some fixes. We need structural supports on that upper deck to be put in place. I might redo some of the beam supports on the underside of this. I'm going to fix the cable railing. I'm going to use my own cable railing. I have my own cable railing that I think is on my symbols and content. Let me see if it actually works if I type in RD cable. I doubt it. I don't think I've conformed that yet. Oh, it did. Ha! That's my cable roll panel, my cable roll post, and then cable rail. So my cable rail, I think, looks a little nicer than most. Let's see, we're going to draw it where I can see it. It's not going to let me draw it from this view. Let's draw it here. And let's see what happens when I curve it. I'll curve a section of it. Curious what this looks like. These are old. I made these a long time ago. Oh yeah, they look nice. Yeah, even on the curve it looks pretty good. Yeah, much nicer. That'll be an upgrade for them. Let's see if this is available on my website, guys. Sure. Let's just... I would think that's in architectural. No. How about patio? No. No work moldings, materials, they remind for CAD. Well, shoot. I got to get this to you guys. All right. Well, so that'll be there. That'll be a task for later. We got a couple things we're going to add. And we'll add this cable rail to the symbols and content section of the site, so you guys can get that. And then we'll also add that aerator we built. And then maybe I'll just add. Look how funny this is. Let's rebuild this scene. Here we go. Maybe we'll also add this whole hood assembly thing so you can take a look at it. Because I didn't have anything prepped for Free Symbol Friday yet, so I was just going to look through my catalogs and see what I had. Maybe we'll even show that we'll block the whole the sink assembly, and that way you guys can take a closer look at what we did there. So we got a couple things to give away, which will be fun because we'll just point it back to this. Yeah, this place is starting to look like something, so that's good. All right, guys, I'm gonna sign off. Thank you for watching. Those of you that have been watching this whole time, you're crazy. Get back to work. Hopefully you've been working too. And yeah, appreciate you, Michael Moore. You've been here since the very start, so thanks. Right, David, you missed it. It's okay. Well, it does show up on. It's in the Rabbit Design feed, and it is on YouTube, so you can go rewatch. It just means you don't get to interact the way that some of these people got to interact today. So a lot of goofiness happening in this one. But I think we dropped a lot of fun little tips and tricks and hacks. So maybe worth a watch. It's a long video, though, at 3.5 hours. And I am not going to division it into chapters. So I know someone that stuck around the whole time, like Michael, probably caught some good tricks. Thanks for chiming in, you know what I mean? And I'll talk to you guys soon. Cool. Yeah, watch it at night, and appreciate it. Thank you. You are too. You'll watch it and you will not think I'm brilliant. We had a lot of goofy things going on. Yeah, I was making a bunch of dumb errors. So, anyways, yeah. Watch it later on. Give me some feedback. Drop comments. Tag me. I always come back to this stuff and respond to you guys. So feel free. All right. And I'm signing off.